Guys, we're here. We are finally here. The last episode of Project Eden's Garden before the next chapter. And I don't know when that's coming out, but yeah, we started the class trial. And it turns out the class trial is crazy long. So that's why I had to break this up into 2 episodes. So if you missed the last one where we started the class trial, you might want to go check that out. But I'm actually really sad. I said this last time because I thought we were going to finish it. We did not, obviously, but this is very sad. I need more, man. I need more of this game. All right, let's continue this. Oh, I'm so excited to figure out who killed, because like I just need to know if any of my theories were right at this point. Please, like one of them had to have been right.
Then you should be wondering the same thing. How did they unscrew the doorknob without catching anyone's attention?
Okay, so yeah, we ended last episode where they finally started talking about the doorknob, and they suspected Diana, right? Yeah, so Diana is like one of the top suspects right now, which again, I thought so too. Like she could definitely have been the one to do it because she's all makeup. She's the makeup person. So I'm gonna say Diana and Grace is my top suspects, right? Like the top of the top.
Yeah, doesn't sound possible.
Not in the moment, it isn't. But what if the doorknob had been swapped beforehand? Say this person knew Wolfgang and Diana were coming to the boiler room. They could have swapped the knob in advance, waited for Diana and Wolfgang to enter, and then closed and locked the door.
So the flipping of the doorknob was premeditated?
With what we currently know, I'd wager it's our safest assumption.
I agree, John? His name's John, apparently.
At least, until we hear Diana's side of the story.
I know, she hasn't defended herself one bit. She just keeps saying no.
Diana, since you were the last person with Wolfgang, your testimony could be our most valuable piece of evidence yet. You need to tell me what happened. If not for me, or for you, then at the very least, do it for Wolfgang's sake.
I'm sorry.
She did it? Is she admitting?
I'm really
Oh, dang. I should have continued just a few more lines last episode, or else we could have ended it on this. This would have been a much better cliffhanger. Oh well.
I wanted to help. I wanted to make everything okay.
How do you hide text again? Oh, there you go.
But all I could do was be useless. All I could do was watch him die.
Ooh, she was there? She's admitting she was there.
It's all my fault.
Okay, so she knows who did it then.
All my fault. For doing the wrong thing.
So is this a confession, or?
Or she caused his death? Yeah, what if it was an accident and someone caused the death of somebody, and so like, but they didn't really necessarily try to kill them?
No!
Huh?
I didn't kill Wolfgang. And I don't know who did, but I still failed him as a friend.
So maybe she found him.
I failed him then. And I failed him here. But if I told the truth, things would be worse than they already are. But now that I've said nothing...
She watched Wolfgang die?
It's okay, sweetheart. Come on now, take deep breaths.
Yeah, we'll believe you no matter what you say.
Sure. Not true at all. It's looking like Diana might actually be innocent. It's looking like that, but the nagging feeling in my chest still hasn't gone away. Damn it, what am I doing? Because of one girl, I've been doubting myself and jumping from one argument to another. If I can't piece together my own thoughts, how can I possibly piece together this case? I need to get a grip of myself. I need to keep sight of myself and the goal of this killer. Whatever is thrown at me next, I need to preserve. Because if I don't, if everyone else votes wrong, I won't leave this place alive. Is this the intermission?
Has all this murder hubbub left your head in a tizzy?
It's so crazy, man. I wanted a good place to stop, and this would have been so perfect. Oh well.
Perhaps you need a short break. Something to lighten the mood and let you collect yourself. Something like a nice cup of tea. Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of Tozu's Tea Time. If you haven't already,
What the heck is
please
this?
Sit back and relax. Here, we do not use our brains, but deal only in gossip. Now, a question from me to you. What are sheep good at, if anything?
Eating grass.
Most humans, and some sheep, tend to respond with a resounding absolutely nothing. Sheep cannot create art or invent medicine. For goodness sake, they can't even perform music.
Well, I think you can milk them. I don't know why that was the first thing I went to. So my grandparents used to have goats. I know it's not a sheep, but they're gotta be related somehow. And yeah, she would make like ice cream out of like goat milk and stuff. It was good. It tasted like ice cream. You know, I thought it was a little weird at the time, but it did taste really good. But sheep, you can shave them and use their wool, and they do eat grass. I don't know what else they're good at.
Their limited speech and quadrupedal locomotion prevents them from reaching the heights of humans. They're practically glued to the lower echelons of the food chain. No matter how hard sheep may try, they will never be anything more than their number tag. I can't say I like that answer. Too pessimistic for me. Plus, what of the sheep who still try? The sheep who realize their fate but continue to challenge it all the same. That they can be so determined to prove their worth when humans have all but deemed them microwavable meals.
Why is he talking about sheep? Is it because we know that Wolfgang is a wolf in sheep's clothing?
Isn't that something admirable? What a shame our sheep had to be so misguided. It seems that's about all the time we have. Thank you again for attending Tozu's Tea Time. No need for extravagant farewells. I've an inkling you'll be back for tea sooner than you can say Jack Robinson. Who's Jack Robinson? I have no idea. Ta-ta!
Well, that makes two of us.
Diana, now's your chance to defend yourself. Tell me what happened.
Where do I even start, though?
I would like you to start somewhere because I need to know. You guys know, through all these episodes, I have been trying my best to freaking figure out exactly how this happened. I have ideas, but I need to know, and I need to know if I'm right.
How about you begin by explaining why you went to the boiler room?
Why I went there? It was because of a note.
Oh, so the killer maybe wrote more than one note.
A note?
2 days ago, someone slid one into my room.
Because that would make sense, because if you were gonna kill someone, obviously you're committing to doing that. And so you want to get out alive. And because if they guess wrong, so yeah, you would make more than one note. You'd try to frame somebody.
I never got to see who. I just heard a knock. And when I walked over, there was a note under my door.
I don't remember any of this.
Sorry. It was
Because they shared the room?
and you weren't there at the time. And I didn't show you the note later because...
Ooh, but she wasn't there. Kind of weird, huh?
Well...
She could have been the one that wrote it.
I'll just read you what it said.
Eva does have nice handwriting too, by the way. Diana, as you are aware, it is our obligation to speak with those whose blackmail we have obtained. After receiving your blackmail and reading the information disclosed in it, I believe a meeting between the two of us is warranted. In 2 days' time, please come to the underground boiler room at 8:45. Okay, 8:45. That's not 8:15 like the other note said. Make sure to arrive promptly and close the door behind you. To avoid discourse, do not show anyone this letter. Do not approach me about it either. Even in private, there is always a chance someone can hear. Wolfgang.
Wolfie wrote this?
Wolfgang had Diana's blackmail? But didn't he have Jean's?
Hold on a sec. If you take a closer look, the handwriting on that note, doesn't it resemble the handwriting on Wolfgang's note?
You're actually right. Even though Wolfgang's note has been water damaged, the words I can make out were in the same messy scrawl as Diana's here.
Then someone else was posing as Wolfgang?
The killer, most likely. They must have thought his word was the only one Diana would follow.
That would make sense why they said don't talk to them, because, you know, they'd be like, I didn't write that note.
Guess it worked, huh?
I didn't want to show this note earlier. Because I was scared of how people would try to twist it, like saying I faked the note, or that I decided to kill because of it. I thought it would be better to just stay quiet. I know you guys think I'm stupid for agreeing to meet in a place like the boiler room. And I am stupid. I just didn't want to disappoint Wolfgang. In case he really did write the note.
She fell for the oldest trick in the book.
Which was why I left my room around 8:40 a.m. and went downstairs.
Did you catch any strange movement down there?
No. It was just me. I did find the boiler room door hanging open a little bit. But I didn't think much of it. I just went inside and closed the door behind me. Since that's what the note asked me to do.
What did you see inside the boiler room?
The boiler room was really dark. So the first thing I noticed was actually the security camera light. My eyes had to take a few seconds to adjust to everything else. But after that, I finally saw him.
She saw Wolfgang. Oh. Oh, he definitely looks sick.
Wolfgang was lying in the water, making these weird noises. It didn't seem like he'd even notice me entering the room. Not until...
Yeah, bro had already been hit in the head already.
Wolfgang? Hearing his name seemed to snap him out of his trance, because he slowly rose to his feet. Wolfgang, are you okay?
It's you.
Huh?
I can't believe it. I really am finally meeting you.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Please, forgive me. Please forgive me for what I've become.
What in the hell is going on?
Wolfgang?
Despite how hard I tried, how much I wanted it to be true, I could never become you.
What are you talking about?
I will always be a failure.
It's okay, Wolfgang. Look, there's stairs over here. Come over here and we can get out. I have no idea if he didn't hear me, or if he was just ignoring me. But, okay. I'll get closer to you then. I went over to the ledge of the platform, the part where the fence had a gap. Just take my hand, okay? And I'll pull you out. He slowly stumbled over, and he held my hand. I didn't really think I could pull him out. I just wanted to be there for him. It was the best I could do, because I didn't want to enter the water. Staying on the platform felt so much safer, and I really hate that it did. It's okay, Wolfgang. We'll get through this together, all right? I was looking at him when I said that. I was looking right at him. But somehow...
I don't know what's happening right now.
Somehow I didn't think to react.
Oh my god, Wolfgang! He was an evil bastard!
When he reached inside his blazer.
So she did get cut! Wait a minute. Wait, what am I doing? Was she not always wearing that wrist thing?
Bring her back. Bring her.
Bro, okay. So Wolfgang had the knife, all right? Even though I done nearly said every possibility in the book, I did say it's possible he was defending himself or doing something with the knife. Wolfgang needs to chill out. So she did have that thing on her wrist, but it kind of looks like different, huh? Now, like a longer one.
I tried to leave the room, but the door was locked. I didn't know what to do. I started looking around for things to defend myself with.
So that's what caused that blood right there on that spot in the boiler room?
And that's when I saw the gun.
The taser gun? Did you use it?
I took the taser, and I aimed it at Wolfgang, and I
Shot him?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't shoot him. I just backed away from him.
But why is he freaking crashing out like this?
I couldn't understand anything. Why was this happening to me? Why was I being attacked?
So, dude, this guy, I mean, he definitely looks like he's been sick.
Why can't I do anything to...
He looks like he's been through a rough morning.
I'm not like you. I'll never be like you.
Is he talking about his dad?
I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up until everyone knows me as...
All of a sudden, everything
So
turned
that's when the
white.
bomb went off.
Everything in front of me. Except Wolfgang.
Yo, that looks crazy.
In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then, so did everything else. Even though I didn't see Wolfgang fall over, I heard it, his body, cracking against the pavement.
Okay, so the bomb, so she was just there. That's what caused the blood. I knew there had to be more to this. There were just too many things for me to make sense of what exactly happened. So yes, this makes more sense that there was someone else there with him, but still they weren't the one that caused the murder.
And his knife falling into the water. I waited for the gasp of pain, for him to groan or mumble or say something, but there was nothing. There was just me and the silence. That's how it happened.
What the fuck?
That man attacked you?
But what doesn't make any sense is, okay, who has the knowledge to build a bomb? That's why I went with Ulysses or whatever his name is. Because of all the information he has in his book. That's the only person I could think of that would know how to build something like that. Because there's not like there's a person with the talent to build computers or, you know, build electronic stuff. So who, I mean, could freaking John have that sort of information, you know, maybe Jet? I wouldn't imagine Mark, although Mark could have like electronics stuff. The thing is, does Desmond have information to build? But his handwriting is awful. So if he wrote those notes, he really is good at disguising his handwriting. She's the ultimate entrepreneur, but I mean, that doesn't really say much about what she does other than she's good at starting businesses, I guess? I don't know. I mean, Eva knows a lot of stuff too, though.
Oh my goodness, Diana, I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, but we're just taking her for a word right now.
This is getting too much for me, bros. I think I'm gonna faint.
Holy shit. So Diana really did watch Wolfgang die.
Why was he so violent towards her?
He was clearly having an episode.
It's like he became an entirely different person.
The word you're looking for is crazy.
Despite how hard I tried and how much I wanted it to be true, I could never become you. Why would he say these things?
How'd you manage to escape the boiler room after all that?
By picking the door's lock.
With her hairpin.
I wasn't even thinking. I just started feeling my way back to the door in the dark. And then, well, my supply bag. I remembered the spare hairpins I always kept inside. So I felt around the bag and dug one out.
And she just happens to know how to pick locks? Like,
To be
okay.
honest, I have no idea how I managed to unlock the door. The whole thing was repeated trial and error.
And also she did it fairly fast, like for not knowing how to do it.
Just minutes of me telling myself that
Excuse me.
somehow this next attempt will finally work.
Whoa! Actually unlocking the doors. That's like hitting a bullseye blindfolded.
Now we know why it took so long for her to escape.
I realized why it happened. Getting trapped inside, I mean.
So the running by was Diana running away so she wouldn't get framed for it. So again, the rolling pin and everything was planted beforehand.
The door's lock was on the outside. So, someone must have set the lock before I came downstairs. So that when I closed the door, I'd be trapped.
That makes
The lock
sense.
is normally on the inside too. The killer purposely flipped it, then left the door open so you would be the one to close it.
Yeah, so someone has all this information to Well, you know, I guess you don't have to be super smart to change a lock, but still.
As for why the killer locked the door to begin with.
It was to frame Diana, right?
Right. The killer made Diana trap herself inside the boiler room, so they could kill Wolfgang in front of her, and force her to remain by his body. Had their plan worked, Diana would only be able to escape if someone from outside entered the boiler room, by which point, that someone would be stumbling across what looks like a cut-and-dry murder case.
If the tournament folk found Diana, they would have been playing right into the killer's hands.
Speaking of which, Diana, I'm curious to know, did you unlock the door before or after the tournament attendees arrived downstairs?
It sort of happened at the same time. Like, when I opened the door, there were already people walking down the stairs. Obviously, I couldn't stay inside the boiler room. If anyone saw me close to Wolfgang's body, it would look really bad. The hallway was a bit easier to make out in the dark. So I walked over to a wall bordering one of the storage closets and hid behind it. And stayed as quiet as possible. I was still bleeding a little from Wolfgang's cut, though.
CG!
And some of that blood ended up dripping onto the floor around me.
Oh my god. Okay. So that's why there's blood in 2 spots. I mean, without knowing the context, you would just assume that something else happened right there. So she just happened to be hiding there. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Oh my god. Alright, I think she's telling the truth because this makes sense now.
It's the blood on the underground floor! It's all coming together!
This was shortly before us tournament goers split up. And you made a run for it, yeah?
Okay, so we can eliminate the taser. We can eliminate everything else. Other than why did Wolfgang have the knife? Why was he freaking having this crazy episode? And who set the bomb? For all we know, again, I did say this as well, that this all could have just been done by Wolfgang himself. If he was acting crazy, for whatever reason, you know, maybe he's supposed to be taking something, and then he didn't take it. I don't know.
Down the hallway, up the stairs, and then as quietly as possible into my room. Since everything was still really dark, I had to patch myself using the Tozu trinket's projection as my light.
But it did seem like he was trying to kill Diana, almost.
I realize this is a lot, and I know it's hard to believe without proof, so if you guys could just give me a second.
She pulled out a wipe. Okay, she's gonna scrub her arm.
I cleared up the blood pretty fast. Luckily for me, the cut wasn't that deep. There's still a chance it may leave a scar, though.
Holy crap! That's awful!
It's okay. I'll cover it back up again.
Why did Wolfgang attack you for no reason?
I wouldn't say it was for no reason.
Let's see. I mean, if this is just Wolfgang's signature, as a lawyer, there's a good chance he may have had good handwriting. We don't really know.
You're being kind of insensitive, man.
Huh? I didn't mean it like that. What I'm trying to say is, Wolfgang's actions may look random from an outsider's perspective, but from his perspective, well, judging by his behavior, it seems like he saw something which shook him to his core.
Like, there was something in the room that Diana didn't see?
That's impossible! It was only me and Wolfgang in the boiler room!
I don't believe John meant it in a literal sense.
Wolfgang literally saw something?
He thought he saw something, is my point.
Wait a minute. Okay, we need to look at our truth bullets really quick. Does Diana look similar to Wolfgang's mom? Maybe that triggered it? I don't know. I'm just thinking here.
You mean he had been hallucinating?
What did Wolfgang hallucinate for him to turn out the way Diana described?
You'd be surprised by the sort of things our minds can invent. I'm lucky to have never experienced anything myself, but I know some who have hallucinated nasty things. Demons and monsters, or the feeling of being tortured. If Wolfgang went through something similar, I can see why he lashed out.
Now what the heck is going on at sea?
Of course, these hallucinations don't just happen out of the blue. More often than not, they're substance-induced.
Substance-induced? Just say Wolfgang took a hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogenics?
One which induced a lot of fatigue, too.
Just keeps repeating
judging
things.
by the way he lumbered about in Diana's account.
It would explain why Wolfgang mostly stayed in one place.
One place, which happened to be in the water.
But again, we have to go back to Grace and Toshiko. She said that she saw him and nothing looked out of the ordinary. So what in the world would he have to... Okay, he was injected by something most likely, right? That's what the red dot is. So did Toshiko do it? Because she's the only one that seemed to have met him in that time frame when he was on his way to the boiler room. And she did come from the medical room. It's Toshiko. Toshiko, how could you do it? How could you do it, Toshiko?
Seems very deliberate. Aye. I reckon the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious in order to drag him into the water, but knew he would eventually wake up again. So they drugged him with something which would basically make him despondent. As for where the
And Toshiko's like alibi is that freaking what's-her-face had a headache.
Oh no! Don't tell me the killer robbed...
I knew exploring it was a bad idea.
It? What's this it we're talking about?
The pharmacy, obviously. Why the heck did we think leaving that place open was a good idea?
But yeah, Ulysses has all the information about the pharmacy in his notebook. He knows what everything does. Everything. Not everyone knows that.
I knew our promise was too good to be true. I can't trust any of you guys. And don't say Wolfgang drugged himself. Who wants to be tortured by demons?
Well, stranger people do exist.
That's rich coming from you.
And just as I predicted, exploring the pharmacy ended up paving the way for murder. Should I have made more of an attempt to stop people from exploring? Back then, all I did was... With cautious yet determined expressions, the students entered the newly opened pharmacy. Yeah, and there was blood in this room too, which I thought was weird. Giving everyone unrestricted access to medication sounded like a disaster in the making. That's what I said. But having already invoked the group's ire after speaking my mind before I wasn't able to make the same mistake twice, I'll just stay quiet, let them do their thing. Then again, nobody would have listened to me, especially not with Wolfgang in control.
If we know where the perpetrator got their chemicals, I guess our next step is figuring out how they did the drugging.
Yeah, so now that we can rule Diana out, Ulysses, Grace, and possibly Toshiko are the highest on my list now. It has to be between them. That's the only people that I could think that would do it. I don't think Ingrid would have done anything. Other than her having a headache, we don't know why she had that headache. I can't think of anyone else that would do this. Sorry, I accidentally skipped his voice line. His, agreed, it would help us better understand the timeline of events, and potentially even validate Diana's testimony. I had to take a small little break, okay? Sorry, I accidentally skipped his line.
Sounds like you guys can leave this one to me. I'm the kind of person who knows someone back to front the moment I meet them. If you haven't already realized, I've gone and read this killer like an open book.
You're the last person I trust to reach a correct conclusion.
Just you wait! The second you hear what I gotta say, you'll be eating those words!
Penning down how Wolfgang was drugged may validate Diana's testimony. The question is, how did the killer drug him? Obviously, we know how. I mean, the red dot. Odd smell. Well, oh, yeah, that could be a thing too.
Forced Wolfgang to swallow it.
Toshiko's fetch quest?
How would the killer make him swallow a pill? There was no proof they restrained.
Has to be Wolfgang's neck. That's the only thing that
Killer
applies.
knocked Wolfie out. Maybe that was their way of restraining him.
You can't force an unconscious person to swallow a pill.
What if it was a drug? You don't need to eat.
Yeah, you're onto something.
An inhalable substance?
Yeah, like a...
I'm bad at these. Oh, that was it. It was jab. Yeah. Okay. I was supposed to agree with him.
Jab.
I agree.
When Wolfgang's wounds were discussed earlier, it was mentioned he had a tiny red dot below the bruise on his neck. During the investigation, I thought this dot was a scab from a mole or pimple. But knowing Wolfgang was drugged, it's clear to see what it really is. A puncture wound.
Considering the timeline of events, an injection would check out. If Wolfgang got drugged a little after 8:15 a.m. and was already feeling the effects when Diana arrived at 8:45 a.m., then we're dealing with something which entered his bloodstream in under 30 minutes. Any normal pill would have taken, probably an hour to dissolve.
Whilst an injection would be much quicker. I see.
That's probably another reason why the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious. It would have been incredibly difficult to inject him if he was still moving around. Only when they had him right where they wanted. Dazed and unable to fight back, did they plunge the syringe into his neck.
With said syringe being filled with a hallucinogenic.
But if this all happened a few minutes after 8:15 a.m., doesn't that make it impossible to pin a suspect?
What? Why is it impossible?
Because everybody's got an alibi for that time. I mean, Damien and I were in my dorm room, and the other party people...
8:15 a.m. Yeah, I was already in the dining hall with Jet, Mark, and Eva.
I left Wolfgang's dorm right after the morning announcement and spent the rest of the hour with Sean.
When Nona and I were in our dorm room together.
And me and Eloise were already sitting down in the courtyard.
Toshiko was giving me the medication she grabbed from the pharmacy.
The pharmacy, you said? I know, right? Like, I want to hear something really quick they just said. I left Wolfgang's dorm right after the morning announcement. Isn't the morning announcement at 8:30 or 8? And spent the rest of the hour with John. When's the morning announcement again? Grace, that doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. Why did they arrive late? They arrived after us. So, unless, I don't know. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. But the timeline in this game, like, the time in these games is kind of odd. So, I don't know exactly how much time has passed.
And, I stayed in my dorm room until 8:40 a.m.
Oh no. If everyone can be accounted for, we really can't discern a suspect.
So, we're back to square one?
Someone here must be lying.
And doesn't plan to stop.
I mean, Grace could have injected him while he was sleeping, and maybe like the effects just didn't take effect until a certain amount of time. Like there needed to be a certain amount of time for him to start feeling a little weird until he was just like crazy, you know? It doesn't explain why Wolfgang had a knife on him. That's what that doesn't explain. What's screwing us over here? Is it the part of the mystery where we're getting wrong, or could it be we're overlooking something? It was ruled out as having no relation to the murder because the wires didn't touch the water, but the position of it, the fact it's destroyed, the timing of the blackout. One coincidence is easy to wave off, but when it's coincidence after coincidence, then there's something more going on. There's something more to the generator.
If everyone has an alibi for 8:15 a.m., is it possible the killer never actually attacked Wolfie at that time?
Yeah, the medicine probably took a while to take effect.
But his little note said to come by at 8:15 a.m., didn't it?
Ingrid, do you remember what you said when we couldn't figure out who stole Desmond's taser?
To be honest, I'm drawing a blank.
You suggested we switch subjects and discuss Wolfgang's injuries instead, which we did. As a result, we ended up unraveling more about the case than if we had stuck to the original topic. Right now, we're at a dead end. If we can't get any more leads out of this current discussion, then that's a sign to switch our focus.
She tried to nudge him in a different direction.
Switch our focus to what?
I want to take another look at Diana's testimony.
Mine?
Back when you were describing Wolfgang's death, something stuck out to me.
Well, yeah, why was the taser in the boiler room? Has to be what it means. I won't give up until everyone knows me as... Okay. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. Okay. And so did everything else.
The flash of white Diana
like Piccolo
must have been the generator exploding, with the darkness afterwards being the blackout.
If you're not a fan of Dragon Ball, you probably wouldn't even get that reference. But...
Think about the order of events there. In just a few seconds, the boiler room's generator explodes. and Wolfgang falls over dead. Doesn't it sound like the two are correlated?
Oi, didn't we go over this already?
We did. The generator has nothing to do with Wolfgang's death. Its wires weren't touching the water.
Indeed. Which is why the murder weapon is the taser gun.
Diana said she never used the taser, though.
She's lying!
Toshiko, you're not looking good right now. Why are you acting like this, Toshiko?
That's not true. I never fired the gun.
It's all good. I believe you. Sure, nobody can dispute the gun was fired. What can be disputed, though, is when it got fired. I wouldn't be surprised if the killer fired that gun way in advance. Like, sometime before Wolfgang arrived downstairs and left it in the boiler room for us to find later.
What? So the taser gun isn't the murder weapon?
If Wolfgang wasn't killed with the taser gun or the generator, what other options are we left with?
What do you mean? How could the taser gun... So I think a long time ago I found out that tasers technically can be lethal, but it's rare. It's not... I think it's more of like someone gets tased and they hit their head or, you know, that kind of danger, rather than the taser actually causing you death from the taser itself.
The taser gun is the only option which makes sense. The murder weapon can't be
So I don't know why they're saying that the taser gun is gonna kill him. Is it possible there's a third source of electricity we haven't considered yet? Am I grasping at straws by thinking something like that?
Anyway, the only proof Diana never shot the taser is her own word.
That's true, but you can't prove she did either.
Ava, what do you mean?
All the evidence supporting your version of events is circumstantial.
I will say this, this has been in the back of my mind for a long time, but Eva had spent a long time down in that place. She spent her free time around that area on the underground basement.
The note you
The
showed
basement,
us?
whatever. I don't say
That could be a
underground
fake
because it's a
alibi you
basement.
made for yourself. The fact that it has the same handwriting as Wolfgang's is already suspicious.
Couldn't that just mean the same person tricked them?
If you earnestly believe Diana didn't write it, then maybe, but do you see what I'm saying? There's no proof Diana never wrote the notes. There's only her word to go by, because if she did write them, everything about her entering the boiler room at 8:45 a.m. and being locked inside could be a total lie.
I get what you're saying. But if we run with the idea that Diana was the one waiting for Wolfgang all the way back at 8:15 a.m., then we're stuck with the issue we had last time. Why did Diana wait over an hour to kill him?
That's also circumstantial. None of us know what really went on between those two in an hour. Ruling someone out because they took a long time to murder is stupid.
And nobody's questioning why Wolfgang had a knife? Because at first they said, oh, he came in there with the rolling pin, but then he had a knife. So which is it?
Without context? Sure, I'd say the same. But since the boiler room is unlocked, anyone can enter. If Diana knocked Wolfgang out, then she took over an hour to kill him with that influence.
Okay, but who would enter? No one wants to make a detour down some gross, freaky-looking basement. The boiler room is probably the most covert place a person can be.
The most covert place. Her words do make sense. After all, I chose to meet Tozu in the boiler room for the very same reason.
Diana claims she didn't write the notes, and she claims she didn't shoot the gun, but where's the hard proof she didn't do any of these things?
The answer lies in what destroyed the generator.
What?
And it has something to do with the smell. So, some sort of chemical concoction created an explosion.
Didn't we already talk about that?
All you guys did was discuss theories.
And it had something to do
in concrete.
Also with the freaking the wire, the extension cord.
Settling for a theory isn't good enough when our lives are on the line. In the same way Ava can't rule out Diana's involvement in the case, we can't rule out the generators.
So we have to figure out what destroyed the generator? What should we do? Just throw out ideas?
It's what we've been doing this whole time.
Oakley dokley.
Oakley dokley. Like, isn't it weird? So also, if the generator is what killed him, but they say it's not electricity, yet he has no marks on him. Like, if it was an explosion that killed him, which is clearly what they're saying, wouldn't his jacket be all messed up? Like, or is it just, you know, the force from the generator slammed his head against the ground? Like, that's not clear.
All right, everyone, let's put our thinking hats on. If we work together, we'll unravel this mystery for sure. Ready? On your marks, get set,
It's just weird he had no marks on his jacket.
Why did the generator blow up?
I'm still thinking maybe freaking. Let's see. Wait a minute.
So a coincidence?
Odd smell. Probably odd smell. I'm not ruling out that Wolfgang is actually the one that did this somehow.
Killer throw something at the
Why though?
generator that
I don't know.
made it explode?
Perhaps it's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released.
That was probably it right there.
Connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof anything besides the taser.
Okay.
That's not
That was a
significant
clear
enough.
answer there. Oh, the shrapnel. The shrapnel. Okay, that was it.
The generator blew up after Wolfie got shot with the taser.
Such a dastardly taser, leaving so many victims in its wake.
Okay, yeah. The shrapnel is the answer.
No, that's wrong.
Yay, I got it right. Only after getting it wrong like twice.
Unfortunately, Ava, I have to disagree. You say nothing but the taser could have been involved in the murder. But there's one possibility you didn't consider. The shrapnel in the water.
I know, like why, why are they discussing all of this as if, like, these clues are not a thing, when, like, they're clearly a thing? It's like there was something weird in the water. They didn't think of this?
Those bits of red metal which were floating around?
Right. The ones that look like the aftermath of an explosion due to their proximity to the generator. It's safe to assume the two are connected.
Can't that just be debris left by the generator?
Except this debris is a completely different color. It lacks the rust the generator has accumulated. We're obviously looking at the remnants of something else, which means an object we haven't yet identified was caught in the explosion.
Floating near it was another out-of-place item. Okay, the extension cord.
This is it.
In the water was also an extension cord, half of which had been burnt away.
Huh? Did the cord get caught in the explosion?
Seems that cord has the misfortune of floating around the wrong place at the wrong time.
From what I saw in my investigation, the building's extension cord supply
Okay,
seems
yeah,
to
there's the extension cords.
Yeah, it was definitely in the wrong place.
On purpose.
Storage closet D, huh? It was hard to make out much of it in the dark. And after the power came on. But I do
Oh, sorry, I
recall
didn't mean to do
seeing
that.
some extension cords peeking out from behind a
He said
shelf.
Kai came and got him.
Since we already know the killer raided one storage closet, anyone else willing to bet they raided this one too?
The hell did they need an extension cord for?
Probably something involving the generator. Given its proximity to the cord.
Same thing with the red bits. Even though we don't know what they are.
The red shrapnel. It definitely isn't debris by the left by the generator, so what exactly is it? So far, nothing in the boiler room can be directly tied to the shrapnel. At least not any of the clues that have already been discussed in this trial. If I were to flip my thinking and consider the clues we haven't discussed yet, there's no proof that what I have in mind is related to the shrapnel, but with all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards the one that hasn't. The one thing the mysterious shrapnel might be related to, it was said that Wolfgang played a lot of the, the gotcha. So could be something he got out of that. Was it this? Is it just glass? Is that all it is? Like glass and a label? I think that's the answer. Nope. Oh, I went to the wrong one. I meant to do this one.
This is it.
Hold that thought. We may be able to identify the shrapnel using context clues. During the investigation, there was a strange smell permeating the boiler room. It took me a moment to notice, but when I did, well, the best way to describe the scent would be if you mix cereal and alcohol together.
Cereal and alcohol? Talk about specific.
Mm-hmm. 'Tis a sign a chemical reaction was at play.
Wait, you recognize the smell?
Chemical reactions can produce some pretty pungent odors. Usually something to the tune of alcohol mixed with cereal. Or fruits, or eggs. I noticed the smell going into the investigation, but it had completely slipped my mind until now.
Could it be a chemical reaction was caused by the taser?
The gun never touched the water. There's no reason for it to be the source of the smell.
What about the generator?
Considering the state of it, that generator would smell more burnt than anything else.
If the chemical reaction can't be explained by what we already know, like the generator or the taser gun, we need to consider the possibility that the explanation is the one piece of evidence still evading us, the shrapnel.
Can someone translate this into less complicated talk?
But he had the only marks he had was his hand and the back of his neck. So how does this relate?
It was just a long-winded way of saying he's using process of elimination.
I know it sounds like a stretch, but if you follow this line of reasoning, a lot more questions start getting answered. Think about it. If the smell and shrapnel are linked, then whatever object the shrapnel belongs to must contain chemicals.
So we're looking for a metal object, which is also packed with chemicals?
Surely something like that would be kept inside the pharmacy.
Looking at my notes, when we originally visited the pharmacy, I recorded everything I saw. A bright red metal object would have definitely caught my eye, but I don't see one written here.
Unless you conveniently left it out.
I got lots of metallic objects in the dorm room, but nothing chemical. Just big old slabs of metal.
Big old slabs of metal. Why does that sound so familiar? Hold on, that's right. What Ingrid saw, or said just now, is similar to what she said the night before everyone began bunking together. I guess this would explain my room too. It's littered with all sorts of fancy tools and metals. Ooh. Again, if it's not Ingrid, Ingrid's her name, right? If it's not Ingrid, then it'd be Toshiko. She'd have access to all of this. She went into the pharmacy before Wolfgang died. Could it be? Could the shrapnel actually be the remnants of the unique device that guy boasted about having in his room? The only way to know for sure is to put you on the spot. That guy. Why would they say that guy? Is it Wolfgang? Doesn't make any sense. I don't even know why I said that. Jet?
It has to be you!
What did he talk about? What did he boast about having something in his room?
I need to ask you something.
What's up?
Can you tell me what's inside your dorm room?
Like, a full-on list?
Whatever works.
Sure thing. I got a pretty gnarly collection of parts and accessories. Blind spot mirrors, lithium batteries.
Lithium batteries, you say?
Wheels, spare brakes. I even have the legendary mantle from the 1984's Grand Prix winning speedster.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Cool. So, why'd you want to know? Unless... Wait, I'm not being suspected, am I? No. Don't try to roll me into this, bro. I've got nothing to do with the murder.
I don't see why he would do it, but you never know.
I know you don't. You have an alibi. The only reason I ask is because that mysterious red shrapnel may be the remnants of one of your lithium batteries.
This is starting to make more sense. The chemical smell, don't know about that, but the lithium battery, definitely. Those things can definitely cause damage or light on fire or do something.
What?
I see. A lithium battery might explain the smell in the air.
And lithium, that's an explosive substance. If it made contact with water, gosh, you'd be left with a mess and a half.
Wouldn't someone have heard an explosion though?
I did.
Really?
During the tournament. Right before we lost power.
Oi, that's right.
Oi.
There was a boom.
Wait! I remember hearing it too!
I initially assumed the generator made the noise somehow. But if Jet's car batteries contain an explosive substance...
I just want like a friend from Australia to talk to me all day.
Hey, Jet, were your batteries bright red at all?
Maybe?
You don't know for sure?
I never took the batteries out of their packaging. The packaging isn't red, I can tell you that, but the actual batteries? Yeah, I got nothing.
So it can't be proven beyond a reasonable doubt?
Pretty much.
Do they actually like go boom? Do the batteries actually go boom? Like explode? Because every video I've seen, it seems like they just kind of burst into flames. I guess they could explode? But yeah, if you puncture them at all, they start to expand and start to catch on fire. Because even like, if it's you're just like your laptop or your cell phone, if your battery gets punctured, it'll start expanding, and yeah, it will catch on fire. It happens. It just happened recently. Also, I saw a video of a dog chewing on one of those like chargeable batteries, like the cord, and something about that started. It just caught on fire, and the people weren't even home. Luckily, the dogs were okay, but yeah, you gotta watch out for those battery stuff, and don't leave things plugged in that are chargeable.
Well, what's the reaction time of a lithium battery?
The reaction time?
When a lithium battery hits the water, how long does it take to combust?
Do lithium batteries really do that in contact of water?
I think once we know that, we can decide whether or not the battery is relevant to the case.
A lithium battery would be an almost instantaneous reaction, I'm pretty sure.
I just assumed that they would, if you puncture them, something bad would happen, but water?
Mm-hmm. Lithium isn't a metal I've worked with, but it got beat into my head never to mix it with substances it doesn't like. All that electricity, the battery would have let out when it hit the water. It must have went straight into poor Wolfie.
There's warning labels on the battery for a reason.
Okay. If the reaction is instantaneous, then the battery would have entered the water only seconds before the generator exploded.
I'm gonna look it up myself. I'm curious. Oh, I found videos. Okay, so it's not even a battery, it's just lithium metal. Oh my god, wait a minute. Oh wow, okay, so that's crazy. There's metal. Yeah, so lithium metal, if you touch it with water, it does just catch on fire. That's crazy. I don't want to show it because I don't know if I get copyright claimed or whatever, but you can look it up. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to believe that definitely has something to do with that. Does it explain the extension cord? Okay, interesting.
That's really weird.
Is it?
According to Diana's testimony, when the explosion happened, she was still holding the taser gun. In which case, who threw the battery into the water?
So now I'm curious, like in your cell phones, because definitely, don't they have lithium batteries? That must mean they're really covered then. Because if they weren't, then that would be a disaster if you dropped your phone in water.
Huh. Good point. We can rule out Wolfgang, since the Blackens can only be a student who kills another student. And Diana.
It was only Diana and Wolfgang in the boiler room. So unless Diana herself was the one to throw the battery, then the battery can't play a part in the murder.
I didn't throw the battery. I promise.
The shrapnel and generator are too close for comfort. They must be correlated. I'll admit that Diana throwing the battery is a possibility, but that's all it is, a possibility. There may be another way for the battery to enter the water, and until I've ruled that out, I won't settle for the culprit just yet. Okay. It has to be extension cord.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
I don't know about that one, but
lightweight though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun?
Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to make.
okay. Everybody's quick to say the battery was thrown, but when I consider the boiler room, which objects the killer could have leveraged, what that person considers impossible starts to sound anything but. I did it. God, that took me forever to figure out. Generator was the answer. Okay. Saying the battery couldn't fall in the water?
No. The battery might actually have fallen from the generator.
What makes you say that?
The shrapnel's position in front of the generator suggests there's a correlation between the two.
Yeah, the question is, how big was this battery?
It's unlikely Diana threw the battery at the generator. Not only is the boiler room difficult to see in, the generator is positioned far enough from the concrete platform that Diana, with her wounded arm, would need to stand on the platform's edge to make the shot, which would obviously put her in danger of being attacked by Wolfgang again.
Yeah. Wolfgang was really close. He could reach over to me if he wanted.
If the battery hadn't been thrown, the only other possibility is that it fell down into the water. And considering the layout of the boiler room, what else could the battery fall off of? except the generator.
Are you saying the battery was sitting on top of the generator?
Not on top, but maybe. Suspended over the generator, leaning over the generator, teetering over the generator. It could be all of them, I don't know.
The killer might have used a similar method to push the battery off the generator.
Is the tablet in your example a stand-in for the battery?
Sorry, I accidentally skipped something, I think.
Well, yeah.
I see. And what object is the divider supposed to be?
Oh, he's saying there was some sort of divider that would allow them to release it? That I can't answer. Okay, that's because it was wrong. Okay. It was suspended over the generator.
I got it.
Oh. I didn't know they have voice lines for the wrong answers, too.
The battery may have been suspended over the generator.
Oh, yes.
Suspended.
What I said from the beginning.
Over.
Not at all, actually. If the battery was suspended by something, then the presence of that item starts to make a lot more sense. The extension cord? Well, that's not what I thought it was going to be used for, but okay.
This is it.
That was just used to tie it? To suspend it?
The killer could have tied the extension cord around the battery and slung the battery over the generator. If the cord and battery were tied together at the time of the generator's explosion, it would explain why half of the cord had been burned away.
The more you explain it, the more unbelievable it sounds.
What if that's the point? Maybe the killer chose a crazy method because no one would believe it.
And why do they all make it sound like is it just me, or did they all make it sound like that water coming into contact with lithium metal was just common knowledge that it would explode? That wasn't common knowledge to me. Maybe I'm just dumb, but it seemed like the only one that really knew about that was Ingrid.
I don't see how weaving a cord into the mix is any more beneficial than weaving.
So the question is, who knows about that crap? Again, I would say that freaking, yeah, so we know Ingrid and Elysius would know about that stuff.
Which would be especially inconvenient for Diana, because her arm was bleeding.
This is a very big brain plan.
Right. It wouldn't benefit Diana to hold the cord, so what if she didn't? Something else may have been supporting the cord instead.
Something like... What was holding the cord? Wolfgang was. A third person was holding the cord. The cord wasn't involved. An object was holding the cord. Well, there was wasn't there like a vent above the generator? Could someone have been holding the cord up there? It was dark, right? Or something?
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Okay, I don't know. Wolfgang could have been holding it, for all we know, somehow. No? Okay, never mind. An object was holding it.
I got it.
I don't know, man. It's over my head.
Trial, we've assumed the killer held the battery in some form or another. If the battery was on its own, the killer tossed it in. If the battery was wrapped with a cord, the killer held the other end of the cord.
Isn't that what I tried to say, though?
But in the same way something else can hold the battery, can't something else also hold the cord?
Ugh. My head's starting to spin.
Are you talking about something which could keep the cord in place?
Something to keep the cord in place. If I imagine the cord and the battery, it's tied around in front of the generator in the same spot where the shrapnel had surfaced. Holding the cord?
This is it.
The killer tied the cord to the vent.
What vent?
The one above the generator. It connects the boiler room and the dining hall.
There's a vent above the generator?
You should remember sunlight shining into the boiler room. That's where the vent is.
I do remember that from the beginning of the game.
Is set a bit far back into the wall. So, you probably assumed the spot was a small window or something.
If the boiler room and the dining hall are separated by one vent, does this make the wallpaper thin, or...?
There's two vents. The boiler room vent and the dining hall vent. Both are connected via a small ventilation shaft. I was able to get a close look at the boiler room vent after Ava and I woke up, which is why I know these details.
How close is close for someone under 6 foot?
Oh my god.
Ava helped me reach the vent.
By?
Letting me sit on her shoulders.
Quite the visual.
It was funny, I remember. Don't rub it in.
Anyway, if the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent, and the other end around the battery, they could suspend the battery over the generator.
Something like that would result in an explosion.
What do you mean?
You say the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end to the battery. However, indoor extension cords are much longer than regular cords. They can be upwards of 9 or more meters in length, as opposed to the average cord's 2 meters. 9 meters is significantly longer than the distance between the vent and the boiler room floor. If the killer wanted to tie the battery to the cord's other end, they would be tying it to something which is already submerged in water.
I see. It is an impossible setup.
Unless they just cut the cord, but okay. Yeah. Cutting the cord.
Cut the cord using what exactly?
Their teeth, I don't know.
The scissors?
And where exactly did these scissors...
Could have been the storage closets. They're packed with tons of stuff, so...
Well, I've been through those closets twice now.
Not even pliers?
I didn't see pliers.
How about a knife?
Could the cord have been cut with Wolfie's knife?
You believe the victim set up the murder trap?
So this whole thing was a mission?
That's definitely not the case. Wrapping the cord around battery. Ah. Wrapping cord around battery.
I got it. The extension cord is pretty thin and flimsy. If the killer wanted the battery to be secure, they need to wrap a lot of cord around it. Probably to the point there wouldn't be much spare cord remaining. Which is a good
It's a pretty big battery.
Because this spare cord is what the battery will be suspended by. So long as the spare cord isn't too long, the battery will sit safely above the water.
So much effort.
Agreed. How do you even submerge the battery into the water under those circumstances?
By adjusting the cord's position, all the killer would need to utilize is a certain aspect of the boiler room. Certain aspect of the boiler room? I do not follow, I'm not gonna lie.
This is it.
Okay, alright, well I didn't know what they wanted me to pick, but I picked it.
Like I mentioned earlier, I gave the vent a close look after originally waking up.
So just opening the vent, I'm assuming? Maybe it...
My inspection included opening the vent to get a better look at the other side.
This is a lot of thinking for a killer to do.
The vent can be opened?
Not all the way, but far enough for the vent to cause a domino effect if then closed.
So you're saying the killer was just in the vent the entire time?
In our case, a domino effect involving the extension cord tied to it. If we assume the vent must be open for the battery to remain a safe distance above the water, we end up with a pulley system. To prevent the battery from entering the water, the vent is literally pulling the entire cord backwards.
And didn't they say that the vent is connected from the boiler room to the dining hall? So you're saying that anyone that went... But this doesn't explain how they got out. Oh, wait a minute. So they're in the vent, they pushed it in, the explosion happened, everyone came rushing down, and maybe the killer went through the dining hall then. So... And then they went back down with everyone else? Who was like the last person to show up then?
Ergo, it's not just the killer's own measurements keeping the battery in place, but the vent itself. Having opened one of these vents before, I can tell you how tough they are to move.
Wrapping my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could.
A lightweight battery definitely isn't heavy enough to pull one shut. It takes an actual person to close one, which is great for the killer, because it means they get to maintain full control over when the battery enters the water. If they close the vent, the cord should slide forward and submerge the battery into the water. When that happens, the boiler room water becomes electrified by the battery's components, which in turn causes electricity to pass directly into the body of Wolfgang, who is standing in the water.
Exactly which vent is the cord being tied to?
The boiler room vent.
Sorry. Cut out for a second.
Funny. Earlier, you said there's a small vent shaft connecting the boiler room vent to the dining hall vent. Assuming the killer is operating this trap from outside the boiler room, since we know there were only ever 2 people in that room, how would they even be able to reach the boiler room vent. Like you said, there's a separate vent in front of it.
She has a point. I've been assuming the cord is tied to the boiler room vent, but I failed to consider the ventilation shaft. It becomes considerably harder to reach the boiler room vent if you have to reach down that shaft first. Not just that, I never tested to see if the boiler room vent can open inwards. I only got it to open outwards. By that logic, a vent in the opposite side of the shaft.
This could only mean one thing. The killer never tied the cord to the boiler room vent. They tied the cord to the dining hall vent.
That just creates the same problem as before, but reversed.
But wouldn't they have to be in the dining room though to mess with it? And if they did that, I swear if this is Eva, somehow I'm gonna be so angry. Because didn't she like not play the game? She was just there?
Instead of the dining hall vent making it hard to close the boiler room vent, it's the boiler room vent making it hard to reach the dining hall vent.
While the vents may seem like an obstruction, especially since
Because
it can't be opened,
if everyone was focused on the game,
easy workaround.
I need to see that CG again.
All the killer needs to do is fit the extension cord between the grates of the boiler room vent.
Oh yeah, the grates. You mentioned something about them earlier. Right. When you described opening the boiler room vent.
Wrapping my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could.
If you can fit your fingers between the grates, there's no damn way you can't fit a cord.
Exactly. After which, you could slide the cord through the ventilation shaft and out the opposite end for the killer to then go and tie to the...
Actually...
Actually...
Hello?
What is it now?
There's something I still don't understand about your theory. It's to do with the logistics of the cord.
The logistics?
I know all about cords.
Its size.
We're back to discussing this again. I'll find a way to combat his argument, just like I've done countless times already. Okay. Crap, I forgot how to do this. You have to like swipe everything away, right?
I understand the boiler room vent can be opened. Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit an extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder.
No! You're wrong! First try, baby.
I don't see a problem here. The killer doesn't even need to open that vent, because it could simply slide the cord between the grates.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point, and someone else closed it. That is my issue.
Okay. I mean, it does sort of have a point, but I don't know. What if they set it up beforehand somehow? His argument might have made sense if it weren't for the one bit of flaw. Okay. Every time I think I understand this game, I don't understand this little mini game. I really should have read the instructions better. It keeps saying I'm successing.
Indoor extension cords may be thin.
What am I missing? Is my game bugged? It keeps saying I'm successful, but then I'm not. I don't. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to use.
Their side of them.
How come through those words?
Sorry. I don't know, man. Sometimes I just don't know what to do. But here we go. Progressing.
If you insert the cord through the boiler room vent first, it's possible to fit the cord through. You just need to start with the internal plug. The cords in storage closet D have a slim internal end. This can easily be slid through the gaps in the vent. Once the killer ties the cord around the dining hall vent, presumably with a knot, the cord won't be at risk of sliding back out either.
I see. When put like that, whether or not the boiler room vent was closed isn't really relevant.
So basically, this made no sense. We didn't have to do this.
How'd you figure all this out from some shrapnel and an extension cord?
Kai is like me right now. Like,
this is crazy.
This is insane.
At the same time, What he's describing sounds plausible.
Still, somebody would have had to mess with that
The
during.
battery was suspended over the generator. It's no surprise the machine ended up the way it did.
So that means still that it could have been Eva. Oh my God, it's Eva, isn't it? It's Eva. I knew it. I knew it was a possibility, but it has to be her. She wasn't actually playing the game, right? She wasn't actually part of the tournament? I mean, it could be anyone that was playing the game. Yeah, she wasn't actually part of it. I'm gonna be so angry. I'm gonna be so angry if it's her. I wanted her, like, you know, I don't know. She's the first one I started learning about, so, you know, I just didn't want her to die.
Fortunately for Diana, she was safe by virtue of remaining on the platform. I imagine that was also the killer's intention.
The killer kept her on the platform?
They must have known they were injecting Wolfgang with a hallucinogenic. So, it's possible they hoped his behavior would scare Diana off from entering the water.
That is a lot of thinking. That's too much thinking.
Although, even if Diana did die, the moment people realized only she and Wolfgang entered the boiler room, they'd probably call the whole thing a murder gone wrong.
Well, all of this certainly changes things.
Huh?
If the killer is someone who needed access to the vent and needed to be operating from the dining hall, then everyone who attended the tournament is a suspect.
What?
No way!
Well, duh. One of the tournament's attendees is the killer? How did I not realize this sooner? The fact the killer could even access the vents means they would have been in the dining hall at the time of Wolfgang's murder.
We can reduce it down to 8 people. Damon, Kai, Grace, Eva, Cassidy, Jed, Mark, and John.
I think it's either Eva, Grace, or freaking John.
It was probably Cassidy. She set the whole thing up.
Hey, I was only trying to improve the mood.
It wasn't me. I was playing a game with Damon when the lights went out.
I had to play music.
Me too.
You never touched my equipment.
I meant I was watching Kai and Damon play.
I know, I need to see that CG because that's when it happened. Who was in this freaking... I gotta go back. I gotta go back now. Look at it. There's no Eva to be found. No Eva at all. Like the one person that I did not want to be the killer. Oh no. That settles it, right?
Me too.
Me three. And Cass too, I think? I was too focused on the game to remember who was or wasn't there.
If everyone's telling the truth, then all 8 of y'all were crowded round the same spot?
Near the right wall where the TV was set up. It's also the furthest wall from the vent.
Wait, crap, who else wasn't there? They weren't all in it, right? There was Grace, John. Who else wasn't in there? Was it her? Was Cass? No, I just took it away, dang it.
Seems like someone is lying again.
We'll find out, you know, we'll find out. Whoever wasn't in that picture was the one that did it. One of them. Okay. I can deduce who that person is by determining everyone's position is directly before the blackout. The problem is myself had been totally preoccupied with the game. Yeah, he was physically playing the game. I never got a good look at the actual people around me. Never got a good look. Wait, is that it? While I never got a good look at the others, I could still deduce their general positions and if they were near me, or whether or not I heard them. Think, Damon, think. Who and what did I hear back then? It was you. The only person I never heard was you. Well, I don't remember who talked, but I'm just gonna suspect Eva.
It has to be.
No, don't do this. Please be wrong.
The killer is Ava. Ava's the only one whose position I can't account for.
Why is it the first person that I decide to freaking spend some time with is the killer?
Mark was mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game, so I know he must have been stationed at his pad. And everyone else? I remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone. Except Ava.
And Eva did spend her free time down there. Oh my god. That was in the back of my mind the entire time, but I didn't want to believe it. Because I didn't know the details of this.
In fact, the last I saw her, she was standing in the corner of the room with the vent.
So Ava flipped the vent?
Oh man. And the reason
Please
no
be
one heard
wrong.
it is
There
because
has to be an
the music was
explanation.
so loud.
You can't do this to me.
Me? I was just doing what I was told.
No one's blaming you. We're all in on Eva.
Care to contribute anything, Eva?
I didn't flip the vent.
Well, Damon says you did.
Damon says a lot of things.
While you aren't technically wrong, I don't think that counts as an argument.
His theory is full of plot holes. He just refuses to point them out.
What? Plot holes?
The cord.
What?
In retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem with the cord. If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Trick question. You left the cord tied to the vent.
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
Yeah, you got me there.
How did Eva get rid of the cord? I'm sure it's possible if she knew how to untie it at the right time. Before the blackout, during the blackout,
I got it. To dispose of the cord. You just untied it during the blackout.
She untied the knot during a blackout?
Being the one who set up the trap, Ava could have easily practiced untying the knot in advance. Or she just made it a really simple knot. Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes
And it makes
closed.
sense because Eva knew about that vent. She knew about that vent because that was the first part of the game.
If Ava untied the cord, did it also fall into the water?
Diana's testimony says as much.
It does?
During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recount hearing
Something
certain
plopped in the water, but I thought it was his knife. Yeah.
The first sound was obviously the battery exploding, and the second, when you first recounted the story, you said it was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash?
Then, do you think...
What really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water.
She has very nice handwriting. She knows a lot of information about things. She says that she's not just a mathlete, she knows a lot of things. Her handwriting is probably not exactly the same, but it is arguably nice. This is a really good plan, for God's sake. Like, come on.
When you say it that way, it does seem likelier.
I should have known.
But I still feel like Grace's time and everything, and how supposedly Wolfgang was sick and then he wasn't. None of that made any sense, and it still doesn't. I'm still hoping that somehow that's true, but those times did not match up. I think is that a plot hole? I think it's a plot hole.
The kid who lied about her talents and tried to lie about the Tozy trinkets. I should have known. I should have known. Only Eva f***ing Sadaka would tell Wolfgang!
My God.
You're right that Eva's lied to us several times already.
But she's just a mathlete. How did someone like her come up with something this complicated?
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Even so, the sheer volume of items Eva had to steal, she's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet and Desmond's rooms without being noticed?
This is true.
It's impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes. I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
Right on. No one steals from me.
They already did.
And anyway, how could I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator? If anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
I understand why people are doubtful, but I can't let the conversation continue like this. Eva did in fact have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use was, what, boxes?
Ava grabbed one of the boxes on the concrete platform and placed it next to the generator.
That's setting myself up. Removing a box would reduce the amount of boxes on the platform from 3 to 2.
Flexing your mathematical prowess, I see.
I'm saying Damon would have noticed if a box was missing.
Was it
He
the...
never noticed anything because there were just as many boxes as there were.
Was it the pipes?
Couldn't you just move the box back after using it?
Then the underside of the box would be wet, which it wasn't.
This I can confirm. My notes on the box's exteriors mention nothing about watermarks.
Would people really notice this? The railing?
This is it.
Oh, okay.
Ava, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room. There's already a huge pile of them near the generator itself. You could easily push one up against the machine.
Didn't they just say this?
She would have known about those boxes in advance, too. Since she explored the boiler room with you ahead of time.
Okay, I could have used the boxes.
I guess there's other boxes. We're not talking about the same boxes that we were talking about last time.
And I could have fit the cord through both vents if I inserted the right plug. I can do both of those things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Which vent are we talking about?
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be opened for the killer's trap to work. But opening it during the tournament is asking to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
Yeah, she did get there early though.
Oh yeah.
Not that she was the first one there or anything, but she did mention that she was there early to help set things up.
If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for sure.
Now that Eva mentions it, I'm pretty sure the vent was closed during setup.
It was closed?
There's no way I can execute this trap without being caught.
I hope I hope this is true. I hope she's really like actually telling the truth.
It's a stupid trap anyway.
I don't want Eva to
All
die.
The cord and vent stuff is too complicated. There's a billion ways it could go wrong. Damon's just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's Damon. Damon did it somehow. He just has telekinesis.
What the? That's bullshit.
Ooh.
Can it, you four-eyed troll! You can't talk your way out of this one! The only person who would be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you!
I will say though,
only you.
Grace's face during the game kind of looked a little weird to me. She looked a little off to me. She didn't look very happy. I need to pull it back up. And I have not liked her through this entire thing. I feel something's wrong with her testimony.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself. After a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament, and now you're saying I'm a killer.
Never mind what was said before. Focus on the facts. I just need to focus.
You can't say I'm the murderer.
I'm gonna assume game tournament time, since that stands out to me. I don't know why it's here. Oh, I was right. Holy crap, first try, baby.
No. It's no coincidence you were at the game tournament. In fact, it's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
What do you mean?
It was impossible for me to notice this earlier. But the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for the murder.
Whoa. Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you said Ava was the culprit.
The detective isn't supposed to switch suspects in the last stretch like this. We're totally throwing the audience for a loop, and not in a good way.
Except neither of you played a role in determining what time the tournament would be held. The only person to determine that was Ava.
Oh, did she really? I forgot about that. When I was training my talents, I did most of my studying at 9 a.m. The brain is most active and ready to... She did say that. I remember now. At 9 a.m. tourney, huh? Would it be the first? Screw it, let's do 9 a.m. Then all the evidence is stacking up against Eva.
Ava knew she would be in the dining hall tomorrow, So when Cassidy announced the tournament, she realized it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create an alibi for herself.
I just feel like there was like probably a million other ways that she could have did something that was not as complicated as this, but this is not what I expected.
How could she have come up with something like that on the spot?
It wasn't just for an alibi either. Since Ava knew about the tournament, she could time the setup of her trap accordingly.
To answer a question of whether Cassidy, Jet, nor Mark noticed the open vent, when I think back on what Cassidy told me earlier today before the tournament began, I could discern exactly when Eva opened the vents. That she got there early, right? I think I remember that. After stacking the furniture, after breakfast. Okay, after breakfast? I actually don't know.
You really don't?
Okay. I don't remember. I don't remember this.
I got it. Cassidy, you told me Ava approached you yesterday.
Oh, well, okay, this is what I was saying.
Set up the tournament. What exactly did she say?
When did I tell you this again?
Before the tournament?
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, Eva wanted to see what sort of equipment the tournament needed. After I showed her Mark's stuff and told her we were redecorating the dining hall, she offered to help.
Back when this conversation happened, you still hadn't decided what time you were going to start redecorating, right?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. Eva really helped me out, though. She said she would stack the dining hall furniture we weren't going to use later that night. Afterwards, we could focus purely on arranging the technical stuff in the morning.
All right. Then tell me what happened last night.
Jet, Mark, Eva, and I came to the dining hall at around 8:40 p.m. probably. We stacked the table and the dining chairs against the left wall, and the sofas we moved to the middle of the room, maybe a little more to the right. Then we all went back to our dorms. Well, I was kind of hungry, so I stayed back a few minutes before leaving.
Hold the phone. If those sofa chairs were moved to the middle of the room, why did I see one over in the corner this morning?
Because Eva pushed it there.
Eva what?
She didn't want to take part in the tournament. Just watch it from the side. That's what she told me.
Was that like an impression?
I never thought it was weird or anything. Some people just like sticking to the walls of rooms, you know?
We're talking about the sofa in the upper left corner, aye? The one next to the coffee table.
Yes, sir, Eva.
Yo, when the power went out, I'm pretty sure Damon ran over to that corner to look through. Yeah, a vent.
Did she move the chair there so it would be easier to reach the vent later?
Why would I when Cassidy just said the vent was closed during setup?
Okay, but this doesn't make any sense. That means that Eva would have had to poison Wolfgang. And when could she have done that? Yeah, when did she ever have time to do that? Grace is the only one that makes the most sense to me.
Because you were covering.
But Grace was there though, in the picture when it happened, I think.
Huh?
And she did look weird. I still think it's Grace. I want it to be Grace. I don't know why.
It might not have been open at the time, but I'm willing to bet that's because you were still creating your trap.
In what way?
Let's say Ava took a detour for the boiler room first, and slid the internal plug through both vents. After going upstairs and helping rearrange the dining hall furniture, during which she moves a sofa chair so it obscures the vent, she heads outside and hides until everyone else goes to bed. Then, she walks back in and opens the vent.
Yeah, we never solved how Wolfgang got poisoned.
So Eva took complete advantage of them?
Not my fault those two are so trusting.
You think a big guy like me was gonna be afraid of some mathlete? No way!
I mean, she did lie about a lot of important things. Her talent being one of them.
She also cried and fled the scene.
I still don't think it's her. I don't think it's her. I refuse.
I just thought it was cool. She wanted to help me out.
Hey, can we backtrack a little?
Thanks, Kai. That's what I'm saying.
To before all this Ava talk?
Why? What happened?
It's to do with the chair's position.
The chair?
You guys keep saying it was in front of the vent, but Damon stood in front of the vent during the blackout. If the chair was in the position you all say it was, it should have blocked him from crouching in front of the vent.
Ava probably just moved it during the blackout. Before the blackout, it was positioned with its back to the left wall. However, when I ran over to the vent, the chair was suddenly pushed up against the northern wall, out of the vent's range. Ava must have shifted the chair while everyone was initially panicking from the blackout. I'm guessing she hoped people would misremember its position and think it was always along the northern wall.
Oh, man! So I totally fell for it?
I also remember seeing a speaker in that corner.
Yeah, about that. This morning, Jet, Mark, and I arrived at the dining hall a little after 8 a.m. Then Eva came a few minutes later. She helped us put together Mark's equipment, which was stationed in the lower right corner of the room. And then she volunteered to place speakers around the room while Jet and I set up the TV next to the fireplace.
Moving a speaker near the vent. Did Eva do that to drown out Diana and Wolfgang's scuffle?
Yeah. And in turn exacerbate the effects of the other speakers.
But still, what about the other stuff?
Dozens spread throughout the dining hall. Some even sandwiched into corners they didn't need to be. Eva probably placed them that way to cover as much ground as possible.
Still, Eva entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m., right? So, wouldn't it be impossible for her
That's
to
what I'm
knock
saying.
out Oya Man at 8:15?
According to Ava, she arrived around 8:10 a.m. But it's possible she actually arrived much later.
Yeah, so Damon woke up at 8:30. We didn't know what happened before that. Okay.
Since there's no clock in the dining hall, they just couldn't have known. In fact, that might be why Ava seemed so eager to arrange Mark's equipment in the morning. Upon realizing it had a clock, she wanted to ensure it would only be powered on after she arrived.
It seems the setup of this trap occurred across 3 phases. Phase 1 took place in the boiler room and involved tying a lithium battery to an extension cord. The cord was then slid through the grates of the closed boiler room vent, presumably until it almost poked out the other end of the ventilation shaft. Phase 2, by contrast, was carried out in the dining hall. The aforementioned cord was tied around the dining hall vent, which was then left open. This must have happened after Cassidy, Mark, and Jet were already done redecorating. For the third and final phase, the battery was carefully suspended over the generator. All these steps combined created a pulley system, which could only be triggered by closing the dining hall vent. Is there anything I'm missing?
How I closed the vent.
Huh?
No one has explained how I closed the dining hall vent. Obviously, I didn't do it during the blackout. According to Damon, the blackout can only happen after the vent is closed.
True. Yeah. So yeah.
So, I must have stood up, gone behind the chair, and closed the vent during the tournament. That's stupid. Someone is definitely going to notice that sort of conspicuous movement.
They were all looking at the game, yes, but still, they could have noticed her, still.
It doesn't matter if that someone is on the opposite side of the room. They're going to notice.
How did we overlook such an obvious discrepancy?
He was right. Standing up wood looked really suspicious, which is exactly why she used that to circumvent the problem. Use that to circumvent the problem?
I don't know why you're pointing fingers at some random chair.
I don't know. What do you want me to do?
This is it.
The chair position?
The location of your chair bypasses this problem entirely. To close the vent, all you need to do is set the chair to recline and reach behind you.
Set the chair to recline?
All the dining hall chairs have the ability to recline. Some were already set to that position at the start of the tournament, including Ava's. With her chair in recline, Ava can easily reach down and close the vent without shifting from her position. It's not perfectly inconspicuous, but it's subtle enough to not catch most people's attention, especially those focused on watching a video game competition. Well, am I wrong?
This isn't funny. Just because I was sitting in front of the vent doesn't mean I was the one who triggered the mechanism.
No one can sneak up behind you without drawing attention, especially when all the lights were still on.
That's just dumb! Where I was sitting shouldn't make me a murderer.
Even so, with everything we've spoken about...
Everything? Did you already forget what was said earlier? Just look at all the items I would need to set up this murder. The battery, the extension cord, the rolling pin, the taser, the syringe, and the supposed drug used with it. How could I have collected all of those things? Wolfgang and everyone else hated me because I lied about my talent. They were on their guard whenever I was around. You think Jet and Desmond would just let me walk into their rooms and take their stuff?
That's true. We still haven't
And
explained
how
how
she
robbed
poisoned
two people's
Wolfgang.
rooms without being caught.
How did she do that?
Unless you can prove I had the chance to get all this stuff, you can't make me out to be the killer.
Fine. I'll show proof. Only you could obtain the items necessary for this murder.
Was it like after being hit with a rolling pin? Like, I guess I forgot. Maybe I just forgot. Eva had Desmond's blackmail.
I got it. Ava, you were well aware of the existence of those items. For starters, everyone heard about Jet's battery. It was common knowledge due to his boasting.
Wait, so it's all my fault? Ouch.
If he just wouldn't have mentioned they had batteries.
Since the dorms aren't locked, you could have easily snuck in and grabbed the battery while no one was inside. The battery is lightweight too, so you wouldn't have trouble carrying it. For the rest of your plan, the syringe and drugs are both readily available in the pharmacy.
I'm so mad.
As for the taser, you may not have known about its existence right away, but you still had every incentive to search Desmond's room because you received his blackmail.
Eva? You knew my blackmail this whole time and never said anything?
So what?
Huh?
So what if I knew? I wasn't the only one. Damon knew your blackmail as well.
Oh yeah, he read it out loud to everyone earlier, didn't he?
Damon knew almost everything I did. He knew where the items used in this murder were stored. He knew the layout of the boiler room and the storage closets. He knew all sorts of things. The only thing he didn't know is the one thing more important than any piece of physical evidence.
The hell are you talking about?
See?
Yeah.
You still don't know.
Yeah. Say something that I want to hear.
You still don't know that we never saw eye to eye.
Huh?
Eye to eye... on the not killing each other stuff?
On Wolfgang. Damon saw the way Wolfgang scolded me and treated me like a bad guy. And he thought I hated him the same way he did. But unlike Damon, I never wanted Wolfgang to die.
What the?
Whoa! That's a loaded accusation.
Not a first for this trial.
If you thought you saw the worst of Damon after the dummy trial, you underestimate just how low he can stoop.
What?
I practically risked my life pretending to be his ally. But in
Pretended?
return, he let me see the extent of his deceitfulness, which is why I can tell everyone that Damon has Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, that's gonna make him look bad. Dang.
Oh gosh.
Any reason you didn't tell us this earlier?
Oh, it just makes him look even more suspicious now.
Well, I didn't think it was incriminating at first.
Not even when he refused to come forward about it?
That was weird, but I didn't want to make accusations at the time because it could have just been his ego talking.
He was smart.
Only after watching him reject the taser gun over this dumb mechanism he made up did I realize I had potential evidence on my hands.
Damon, do you have your blackmail on you? Don't worry about reading it out loud or anything. Just show the image. That's all you gotta do.
Did Eva really never trust me? That's what hurts me the most. I chose to spend my free time with her. And then did she disclose so much to me? Wait, why then did she disclose so much to me? Why did she tell me? It's because I trust you. No, this can't be the forefront of my mind right now. I'm on the cusp of bringing this case to a close. What Eva thinks about me shouldn't matter. What she thinks about me. You took my side way back at the beginning, remember? We were the only ones who refused to listen to that lawyer, and you helped solve the mystery behind that whole case. No one thanked you, though. I'm really sorry about the way things turned out. The other students wouldn't have treated you unfairly if it wasn't for me. Damn it. This entire time I've been judging the others for how trusting they are, not even realizing. I was blindly following the words of a stranger, and now everyone's here. They're gonna hold this blackmail crap against me even more than if I just come forward earlier. Even so, what choice do I have? No one will let the discussion continue unless I tell the truth.
Fine. I'll show it, but only the picture. As requested.
With those words, I retrieved the envelope from my pocket. And pulled out the photo.
He's married?
Ingrid, Wolfgang doesn't have blue eyes.
So, who is this then? His parents?
I mean, why else would the guy look like him?
Given the year this photo was taken, these two people must be his parents. Look at what's printed at the bottom. April 17th, 2001. We know how old Wolfgang is because of the student reports. In 2001, he wasn't even born yet.
But why his parents?
Remember, I was like, Wolfgang's a girl?
Held against their will?
That was so dumb.
You can't leave us hanging!
I just say the first thing that comes to my mind.
That's not what was asked of me. And even if I had to, I don't think someone who can't explain himself should have his secrets revealed to everyone.
Some things are better left unsaid.
For the record, I know what Wolfgang's blackmail says, but it didn't change my outlook on him. I don't think it's possible for anyone to hate someone like Wolfgang. He was always brave in the face of sheer adversity.
I hated him. I didn't like him.
And encouraged everyone else to act likewise. Wolfgang challenged me to be a better person. Wolfgang challenged all of us to be better people. And maybe Ava simply couldn't rise to his challenge.
Don't listen to him! He's trying to divert everyone from the truth!
Even though Wolfgang and I didn't always see eye to eye, my respect for him and his talent never wavered. Why would someone like me harm him? Me, who's been leading this trial much the same way he led the one before. I may have questioned the idea no one here would kill, but that doesn't make me someone who wants to see bloodshed.
He does! He does want bloodshed! We have all the proof he's a cold-blooded killer! Wolfgang's blackmail, which he lied about.
Oh my god,
having.
it's Eva. Dang it. I thought there was gonna be a twist.
Damon playing? Nothing he says should be trusted. Nothing he says about me or anything else.
It is odd that we place faith in a man who does not have faith in us. So much so, these discussions are mostly led by his own conjecture.
Damon isn't the killer, though. Why would he try to mislead anyone? Like, he and I were playing a game when the murder happened, and multiple people can vouch for us.
Not to mention, the things he's been saying make a lot of sense.
Truth has no personal alliance. That's why.
Even if he wasn't here, we'd arrive at the same conclusion anyway.
Depends who you mean by we.
Then, you all still think I'm the killer?
Someone needs to be voted by the end of this.
Don't just say it like that.
She's doing the thing that all the killers do, though.
My ears!
You have a helmet on.
How would I know? How would I know when to drop it?
That's true. How would she know? Could she see?
Drop what? The battery! Damon says the killer dropped the battery when Diana was already in the boiler room. But how would I know when Diana was in the boiler room? It's not as if I could listen out for her. The music speakers are too loud.
Unless she could see.
And the dining hall has no clocks. So it'd be impossible for me to know if it was 8:45 a.m.
Right. Only Mark's DJ pad had a clock.
Maybe Ava asked Mark for the time.
She never spoke to me.
We never spoke! I never even got up from my chair. Besides, how could I be sure Diana arrived on time anyway? If you can't explain how I knew when to drop the battery, then shut up and stop accusing me!
Oh my god, she's going crazy. I mean, I guess anyone would if they were being accused of murder, you know, especially if they didn't do it, like she's saying. But didn't she have a Game Boy? Any possible chance that that could have had time on it? I don't know if she was playing it at the time. I think she was, wasn't she? Maybe? Did she just rely on chance? No, that doesn't seem like her likely. Her entire plan fails if the timing isn't right. Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute. She guessed. She checked the time. No. I thought maybe her Game Boy had a time on it. I'm gonna go with scene, because maybe she could still see the boiler room.
I got it.
Yeah, like, you know, I thought that was a possibility.
The only way the killer would have known when to spring their trap was by seeing Diana enter the room. Any uncertainty would ruin the plan, and the dining hall was too loud to hear anything over.
She watched through the vent. What the hell are you talking about?
Trying to look into the boiler room through the vent is impossible.
Wait, how else could she... You ain't gonna say she looked through the camera. That doesn't make any sense.
This is it.
What? How did she do that?
It's impossible to see anything from the vent, which means the only way anyone could see into the room was by using the school cameras.
Say what?
I don't understand how, but Ava must have used the camera.
Is she working with the kidnappers?
Are you kidding me? How the hell would I have access to the camera?
Yeah, you're gonna have to... I don't know how you're gonna prove that one. In order to actually see what was happening on the security cameras, what would Eva need access to? Naturally, it would have to be some sort of screen. a screen. Thinking back on all the various clues we've discussed, I can't pinpoint anything that would provide an answer to that question. She was playing her Game Boy thing, but are you saying that that wasn't a Game Boy? Or, you know, some sort of gaming device? It's time to bring an end to what you started. For better or worse, this will be your final lie. What ho? I don't know. It's time to solve the final piece of the puzzle. However, it won't be without a fight. Denouncing argument, altercation. In this game, I better read this. You and your opponent battle each other in a bullet hell extravaganza, dodging your opponent's attacks, shoot down their arguments to solve the case. Movements, Mega Bullet F and Noise Bullet is space. Noise Bullet space bars are white bullets that can destroy statements. Destroying statements increases Damon Mega's bullet gouge and weakens the opponent's shield. Okay, I'm starting to remember this from Danganronpa now, I think. Okay, I'm just gonna hopefully play. So spacebar and then the Mega Bullet is the left shift key will slow the battle temporarily. Okay. Okay, we'll figure it out. I'm so angry. I'm so mad at this. How could it be her? Wait.
Why would I kill anyone?
Where's my...
I didn't see anything.
Where's my mouse?
There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
Oh. Oh, it's up and down. Oh, okay.
This isn't... It's Damon who's suspicious.
Oh, they changed this. This is different.
Who cares about the camera?
This is interesting. This is quite different from Danganronpa now.
Kill anyone.
Okay,
I
go.
just wanted to help. It's Damon who's just... Why would I kill anyone?
Okay. It says my bullet thing is ready. How do I use it again? Give me a second. Oh, F. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Okay. Got it.
I just wanted to help.
I read that too. Oh, you can hold it? Okay, this is easy. Oh, I can go forward too?
I just wanted to help.
I thought I was just stuck there.
Why would I kill? I didn't see anything.
You know what? This makes a lot more sense. I was just going up and down like an idiot. Okay, I have a decent amount of HP. Am I supposed to be touching those things? Or not touching them?
There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
Okay.
I thought you trusted me.
Oh, well, clearly it didn't mean anything to
Who
you.
cares about the camera?
What? Don't put it upside down. Oh, thank God. They changed it. Oh, this is cool. They actually turned this to a bullet hell game. Oh, I just shot nothing. Okay. Alright, now that I know everything, I'm good. We're gonna kill her now.
It's Damon who's suspicious.
Oh, I'm stuck.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
Okay, alright, we can do this. We can do this. I have it on the hardest difficulty too, so... Oh my gosh, she moved too fast. Stop moving!
There's no why won't you believe me?
Oh, this is so cool, the arts and stuff.
I didn't see.
I love how they actually came up with this.
There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
Alright.
It's Damon who's suspicious. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
Oh, am I supposed to shoot them? Oh my God!
I just wanted to help. Who cares about the camera?
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to shoot them. It seems to be working.
It's Damon who's suspicious.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Did I survive? Oh, I failed? I didn't know I failed. Okay. I'm so confused. It's fine. We'll get through this. Now that I know what to do. This is insane, dude! I died again. I died again. That part is crazy! Okay, I think I'm doing a lot better this time. I think I would... I'd much prefer a controller at this part. Or using my mouse instead to freaking move. Wish that was an option. Oh my God, I wasted a bullet. Okay, well, I'll get through this eventually. Okay, yeah, I'm not using the slow motion enough. That's clearly my issue. She dodged it. Yeah, yeah. Slow motion is the trick to this. It's pretty much before you get hit. Oh, well, okay. I just ran into 2 bullets, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, baby! I have like full health too. Alright.
I just wanted to help.
No. Okay, I still got her. Nice. One more. One more.
Why would I kill anyone? Who cares about the camera? How could
I did it!
access the security camera?
The game. The game.
Up. Who cares about the camera?
Oh! Meat on the bone. Oh, we're doing the meat on the bone thing. Did she have to have freaking half her health back? Because I messed up? Because I didn't know what I was doing? Now, I mean, I get it now, but God, give me a second game to figure out what am I doing? Okay, meat on the bone. Eva's personal console game. Game console. Is it game console?
Who cares about
No!
the camera? I just wanted to help.
I got one little part wrong. It technically was not wrong. What even is this? Why is this so hard? Bro, I swear it changes. All of a sudden she has a million crows. Okay, and she's doing a whole new attack now. I ain't never seen this until right now. It's Eva's personal game console, right? Okay. Eva's personal game console. Oh my god. Why was that so hard? God, okay.
Don't kill me!
What you said was true, Ava.
That took me so long.
Whether or not the trap works depends on if the killer can see inside the boiler room, which begs the question, how does the killer see inside? They can't just get on their knees and peek through the vent. Everyone in the dining hall would notice. Besides, the vent probably offers very little in the way of an actual
So she
view
can
of the
hack
room.
the cameras?
Exactly! It's impossible!
Right. It's impossible. From this particular angle, if I switch perspectives, your entire argument comes completely undone.
What do you mean?
Ava assumes I'm taking only one factor into account. Her position at the time of Wolfgang's murder. Little does she know that in ruling out that factor, she's led me straight to another. A certain item which could have granted her the ability to see inside the boiler room. An item that, like the chemical smell, only makes sense when all other options have been ruled out. The game console she brought with her to the tournament.
Ava had a game console?
She wanted to get in the spirit of the tournament without being directly involved. Or so she claimed. But when every other option has been ruled out, what else can we look to but the one that's yet to be addressed?
Are you saying she saw inside the boiler room using the console?
So he played live footage of the room?
Sounds like a stretch.
If I'm wrong, Ava should be able to prove her innocence. Go on, Ava. Show us the console.
Huh? I don't think she has the console on her, dude.
She has to. She never had an opportunity to slink away and dispose of it.
Well, what about the blackout?
When the blackout first hit, people were disorientated for about a minute at most. Ava likely spent those 60 seconds undoing the cord and moving the chair. Between then and now, she's never been alone. The only exception was when she and I split up to investigate the dining hall and the dorms respectively. However, the laundry room, dining hall, and courtyard all had people in them. So I doubt she hid the console in any of those rooms.
And the janitor closet? That room has been locked for days now. She obviously couldn't hide the console there.
Which means it must still be on her person. Like I said earlier, if I'm wrong about the console, you can take it out right now and show everyone its contents.
What are you waiting for? Quit hiding the stupid thing and show it!
You're just trying to make me look bad. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just jealous of me. You're jealous of me and my talent. That's all you are. Jealous.
Hey, calm down.
Why not just pull out the console?
Yes, show us the console and then you'll be done with this.
No!
Eh?
Why?
I don't have to show anyone anything.
That's the most suspicious thing you could say.
It's not suspicious. I'm telling the truth.
That's obviously a lie.
Why go through the effort of mentioning Wolfgang's blackmail if you won't reveal this?
She doesn't know what want you to know what game she's playing.
Ava had been staring at her console the entire tournament. I thought it was weird. Coming all the way over to the dining hall when she could have just stayed in her dorm.
But no one could have just been up, like, went up to ask her, like, oh, hey, what are you playing? You know, like, no one was interested? What if they were? You know?
Well, where did she obtain this console? We should discuss those details before continuing any more with these accusations.
She said she won it from Tozu's gotcha.
Seems natural you would stock that machine with dangerous items. With this being a killing game.
But a console with an option to hack things?
Between 14 impossible culprits and one possible killer, there's no need to sort out the facts further.
Ava, you're the only one we can vote for.
That's such twisted logic. You're going to vote for me without being completely sure I'm even guilty?
There's no need to be completely sure. If no one else can be suspected.
In case anyone still doubts Ava is the killer, I'll go through the case one last time. And once all the pieces are laid out for everyone to see, I'll prove she's the killer. Once and for
I was
all.
really hoping this wasn't the case, but now Eva seems evil, so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Wow, they did this really well. This is just the same. It's crazy. Okay, yeah, the killer's got glasses. Dang it. I'm so mad. Still mad about it. Okay, so blackout right here. Closing the vent. They didn't explain the marks on Wolfgang's arm either. And like, also when did he get injected? Like, I feel like those parts didn't get explained unless I'm just like slow? Am I slow or stupid? I don't have, where can you put closing the vent? How is the battery activated? Oh, I'm dumb. Totally my bad. Okay, now we're activating these things. Okay, the syringe, they're right there. So we know Wolfgang had the knife, and last one right here.
This is how it happened.
Okay.
God, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it.
This case was directly incited by the motive Tozu introduced.
Give me 1 second. I'll take my face cam away from this. Case is directly incited by the motive Tozu introduced, in which everyone received another person's blackmail.
Amidst the chaos that spawned, the killer saw an opportunity to commit a murder. They sent letters to two people, Wolfgang Akide, who they planned to kill, and Diana Venezia, who they planned to frame. Wolfgang and Diana were asked to meet in the boiler room in 2 days' time. Wolfgang's letter told him to arrive at 8:15 a.m., while Diana's told her to arrive at 8:45 a.m.
The messages threatened to expose our blackmail, so we had no choice but to follow their instructions.
At this point, the killer probably knew the way they were going to kill Wolfgang, hence, how they reacted to this next piece of information. The following morning, it was revealed that Cassidy and Jet were going to hold a game tournament.
The point was for people to spend time together and not think murdery thoughts. But little did we know, a would-be killer was lurking nearby.
would have never in my wildest dreams would be able to guess how they did this. This is impossible for I feel like anyone to actually guess.
And how? The killer emboldened their own plans and made it so the tournament would happen at 9 a.m.
And yeah, because first of all, I didn't even know the knowledge that a lithium battery could explode by touching water. Maybe in some universe, if I would have understood that, maybe I could have put this together.
Yourself?
But also, who did it? I never thought it was Eva. There was a slight
Wolfgang
thing
and
there.
Diana turned down the offer, which must have been music to the killer's ears, since the killer took this as a sign to commence the next phase of their plan. Later that evening, they went downstairs to the boiler room and began preparing the murder weapon.
Though it might be more accurate to call it a murder mechanism.
That is true.
The killer wrapped an extension cord as tightly as they could around a car battery, which had been stolen from Jet's room. I imagine the battery must have been sitting on top of the generator. Wouldn't want to risk an explosion by bringing lithium too close to the water.
The killer avoided opening the boiler room vent for this segment, probably because they knew I'd remember it being closed originally.
A crucial part of the killer's plan would involve sliding the cord through the boiler room vent and out the other end into the dining hall.
It's crazy how they connected this from chapter 0 all the way to chapter 1.
So they could then walk upstairs to the dining hall and tie the protruding part of the cord to the dining hall vent.
Funnily enough, the killer was going to be needed in the dining hall very shortly.
Yeah, to help Cass and me rearrange the dining hall's furniture. We were saving the whole thing for next morning, but they convinced us to do it that night instead.
Their intentions were threefold. Create an alibi, hide the vent with a piece of furniture, and then open the vent in secret. After which, they'd return to the boiler room and suspend the battery over the generator.
Which brings us to today. Knowing better than to head downstairs without protection, Wolfgang went to the kitchen and armed himself with a knife. Toshiko didn't notice a knife on him when the two met in the hallway, so he must have hidden it in his blazer.
What still doesn't make sense to me is how he was able to leave, but Grace said that she never saw him leave, even though he left like all early. before she left. That's what I thought. Isn't that a plot hole? Or am I really just getting that wrong? She never said that he left the room, that he was sick.
8:15 a.m. Exactly like his letter requested. As he was waiting, the killer snuck up behind him.
And he got smacked right in the head with that steel rolling pin and crumpled like paper.
A syringe was then used to inject Wolfgang with a sleeping drug, ensuring he would remain in the boiler room until Diana arrived.
Did Eva not have an alibi for this time? I thought she did. I thought she was like setting up the tournament for this entire time. And that's also the reason why I never suspected her. I assumed that she was always there at this time. So
The killer might have left the taser on the floor around this time.
So that's the only thing that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, the taser they swiped from my dorm. They must have decided to raid the place after receiving my blackmail. If I'd heard about the taser sooner, I could have gotten rid of it. As well as whatever else my blackmail supposedly mentions.
Save the angsting for later, will you?
Anyway, back on topic. Wolfgang was left to lie in the partially flooded area of the boiler room, while the killer ran upstairs to help set up Mark's music equipment.
They didn't care about the equipment. They just wanted to put a speaker next to the vent, because it would drown out the fight which was going to happen later.
Don't forget the digital clock! They wanted to get there before that became available. Don't need people knowing what time you actually arrived.
My letter said to meet at 8:45 a.m. So that's when I got to the boiler room. I made sure to close the door behind me, just as the message told me to.
Bad idea. Killer flipped the doorknob so that the lock was on the outside instead of the inside. You locked yourself in.
The room was really dark too. I didn't even see the suspended battery, only the blinking security camera. And then, Wolfgang, he got up on his feet all of a sudden, and he started crying and saying these weird things. I tried to keep him calm and asked him to come over to me, which he actually did.
So was the lithium battery?
Next second, he attacked me with his knife.
Was the lithium battery all a backup plan? Because what if Wolfgang would have killed Diana? Would she have just not have dropped it then?
The drugs probably gave him a frightening hallucination, and he perceived you as a threat.
Because that would have been a crazy thing too.
He was screaming at me, and I was screaming back. No one from the tournament could hear us over the music. At one point, I even picked up the taser, but then I threw it back down again.
And that's when the killer decided it was time. Having set their chair to recline, they were able to casually reach down and close the vent behind them. This lowered the extension cord, causing the car battery to enter the water and discharge a huge amount of electricity.
I really like these visuals.
Who was still standing in the water, was electrocuted instantly.
Oh, so okay, he got electrocuted. That was it. I wasn't clear about that. I was like, was it the explosion that killed him? Or, yeah, okay.
The battery itself exploded upon reacting with the water, which the killer was likely banking on as a way to destroy evidence. All of this happened right under my nose. No one could have guessed that someone present at the tournament was committing murder.
Oh, I like the music thing.
The explosion also damaged the generator and caused the blackout.
Not for long.
Oh, sorry. Dang it. I don't know why I did that.
We quickly came back to our senses and agreed to look for a backup generator on the underground floor.
I used a hairpin to unlock the boiler room door and ran outside, but you guys had already made it downstairs.
That's when you say you ducked around a corner and out of sight. Only after everyone went inside the closets did you then dash upstairs.
It's a good thing she did. Otherwise, we'd have found her alone in her room with Wolfgang's dead body. We would have wrongly assumed Diana was the killer, and died as a result. This complicated scheme calls to mind only one person. One person who just so happened to be sitting in a certain sofa chair.
That person is you, Ava Tsunaka.
Why did you have to be evil, Eva? Why? Why did I choose to spend my time with her?
It's over, Ava.
It should have been Wolfgang. I should have spent time with Wolfgang.
It's not fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair.
Is she gonna get executed? I'm sure they must have went through that. They must have did that too, right?
My blood is rushing.
Oh, okay. Well, we're back to reading. I was kind of enjoying letting them talk. You have seen beyond the foul lies of the scorned mathematician and delivered the honorable truth and with wit and aplomb?
Well done.
This is worthy of praise. Allow me to reward your success with. Sorry, it's because I go off screen and then I click off screen and then I click back. That's why it does that. This is worthy of your praise. Allow me to reward your success with.
This isn't funny.
Can you shut up? Without Tozy's mad ramblings, the trial room had gone completely silent. Everyone was staring at the floor or sneaking nervous glances at each other. Well, Eva's pretty calm about this. She looks all calm. I understand the reason for this frosty atmosphere. You found out who done it, so now you wish to know why done it.
Such a spoiled.
Very well, every murder mystery needs a motive, and I would be loath to break tradition at this stage.
There must be something.
Why did you do this? Just why?
Come on.
Speak up, you have nothing to lose now. It was Tozu. Tozu made me do it.
You've
been working with Tozu this entire time?
Such disrespect.
Me and her? Oh, please. If her plan was to secretly infiltrate the killing game, she wouldn't have given herself such an attention-grabbing ultimate title.
Rubbish.
I mean, seriously, ultimate liar? Talk about on the nose. No, Eva is just as much of a kidnappee as the rest of you.
Son of a bitch!
Shut up. You let her get away with breaking the rules. That's proof enough you're in cahoots.
Holy.
Eva broke the rules? Yeah, she blew up the school freaking property. Why the F was I punished for chucking a rock at a camera, but Eva wasn't punished for destroying a generator? That's kind of true, though. Desmond tapped the screen of his trinket and conjured a familiar square-shaped hologram. With a few swipes of his finger, he located the killing game's rules. Yeah, everyone take a look at the second rule. Students are not allowed to vandalize any official killing game property such as the cameras and Tozu trinkets. Exceptions may apply. Do you see how it says exceptions may apply at the end? Since Eva wasn't punished for breaking the generator, could that mean she counts, or that counts as an exception? Or she counts, whatever. Are you gonna explain how, or are you just trying to be a freaking contrarian? Well, if I had to make a guess, it's probably because Eva destroyed the generator while committing a murder.
What's all this about?
Are you saying Eva had special privileges? Well, yeah, because if she was gonna get punished, then it would have been boring, you know? They would have to, you know, she would have been outed. Maybe that's why they do that. I think it's more like her method of murder was what destroyed the generator, meaning the generator is technically tied to Wolfgang's death.
Yeah.
Which is why Eva was executed for breaking it.
Slow down.
That can't actually be the reason, can it?
Nice.
And if it were, Eva believed she would count as an exception to the rule, which is why she didn't take any steps to avoid destroying the generator.
What?
She risked getting shot in the head over something she just assumed?
That ain't it.
Nah, with how confidently Eva executed the murder, she must have known for sure she wouldn't be penalized. She could have summoned Tozu and asked him. How about Tozu? Did you ever share that information with her?
Me?
The desperate killer is much like a hungry seagull ready to pounce upon the slightest crumb of substance. The mere implication of a loophole ignited their senses, and they, as desperate people always do, will shred their dignity in pursuit of confirmation. So to answer your question, yes, Eva approached me with the same questions your friends are asking now, and yes, I confirmed her suspicions were true.
Not okay.
That's so unfair.
Pathetic.
Answering a reasonable question is far from unfair. Have you never asked a professor for help on an assignment? Sure, your professor won't do the work for you, but they'll be happy to clear up any confusion you might have. Then why did Eva say you made her kill Wolfgang? I suppose you could say Eva and I made a deal. What kind of deal? A deal to begin the killing game. Yeah, I figured. I was about to say that.
Impossible!
In exchange for agreeing to perform the first kill, she would receive a special perk.
Plot twist.
The traitor perk.
Holy!
What do you mean? Is it the tablet Eva has? I mean, she refused to show it to us when we asked. Mind you that a host cannot simply hand over a traitor perk to anyone who asks. For a student to be eligible for a perk, they must first earn it.
That was very...
What do you mean by earn it? Do you recall that little tidbit I shared with you about the pharmacy? You know, the one about a secret lurking inside? Yeah. The secret, were you referring to the traitor perk? Indeed, I was. When I said a very interesting secret was lurking inside, I meant that quite literally. The only thing separating you from the perk was a few inches of stainless steel and a pin pad. Oh gosh, you're talking about that big door I found tucked behind a shelf? So, if people find stuff, they can just get perks? That's different. Yeah, that's different from Danganronpa. So that just adds even more craziness. I see, he was hiding the traitor perk all along. The trailer perk? How did Eva figure out the password to the pin pad though? Did she enter a bunch of random numbers until it finally worked?
Well,
a 4-digit code would have thousands of potential combinations. Unless Eva encountered unbelievable luck, the chances of her guessing the code in a few days is extremely unlikely.
How?
How did she get access to the traitor perk? Okay. There's only one way. Is it to do with the poster, isn't it? The mysterious poster in the pharmacy?
Well done.
Ding ding! Yes, hidden inside one of the pharmacy's rooms is a poster which reveals the code to the pin pad.
Real?
That's right, yeah, we didn't even explore that room, and Eva kind of didn't want us to explore it if I remember correctly.
No.
How can the poster reveal the code though? They were like, yeah, we'll worry about it later. I knew it had to be important somehow. None of the visuals made sense, which is exactly why it caught my attention. The price. But I didn't know what to do with that information, how to decipher what I was seeing.
Pathetic.
And that is where you fell short of your mathematically gifted peer. With her keen eyesight and quick thinking, she saw the poster for what it really was. An equation. Okay. Every detail is deceitful. These explanations of grandeur may be in fact be hints towards a certain something's nature, and that large star a stand-in for coordinates plane. Okay. Well, not that it matters. The passcode to that precious pin pad is, after all, being changed as we speak. To quote the words of my parents, the road to freedom must always be paved with obstacles. A math equation is totally up Eva's alley. You tell me you couldn't understand the poster.
Why the long face?
Of course she did. The equation is the key to the traitor perk. Handing it over would mean handing the perk over.
Shit.
So the traitor perk was Eva's reward for solving the puzzle.
Anybody?
I mean, that's fair, I guess, right? You know, she did figure it out.
Ooh.
I assume you, I assure you it's a very handy thing to have. You see, this traitor perk allows the owner to access the school's security cameras using a tablet. That's how she got it. Okay. The tablet, of course, being on Eva's person right now.
Damn it.
So I was right. You accessed the camera in the boiler room, which was how you saw Diana enter.
Oh, crud.
I thought it was weird Eva wouldn't show us the tablet, but I didn't think it was actually wired to the school cameras. I think this is a good time to mention this, guys. Remember that comment I said that I read? So far, that has not come true. So, I think it was a lie, or just someone's guessing.
But then...
Then the reason I saw the security camera's light blinking back in the boiler room is because she was watching me. This is making too much sense.
Nonsense.
How could you negotiate with your kidnappers? Why would you have any reason to trust them? I had no choice. I either take his deal and give myself a chance to escape, or I would die here with the rest of you.
You.
I mean, you can't even blame her because literally the chances of everyone dying is extremely high. Because there could only probably be one, you know, unless they find a way to break out that would take down these people. It would be like one person, wouldn't it? That selfish attitude is the reason why we ended up in this mess. Didn't we promise to make it out here together? If you hadn't murdered one of the only people who could have handled the situation, we might have made progress on escaping. Yeah, why did she choose him, of all people?
Hang on.
Even if I didn't kill someone else would have eventually. And if they were in my position right now, they wouldn't have even admit to what they've done. They'd cry and snivel and try to guilt you. They wouldn't be honest like me.
Watch it.
Honest or not, playing Tozu's game was risky. You were trapped in a small space with witnesses everywhere. That's not a gamble you should have taken.
What a joke.
We had food, we had shelter. All we had to do was wait for our eventual rescue from this place. But I would have died first. It was obvious from what was happening with Wolfgang. His constant jeering at me over the few mistakes I'd make while the rest of you followed his lead. If a class trial ever happened with him around, he would have accused me of being the killer even without evidence. And you all would have believed him.
Shut up!
Because of Wolfgang, I was isolated from everyone else. He turned me into an easy target for murder. If I was murdered, would the rest of you even bother to find out who killed me? There's no way you would. There's no way anyone would. You're all the worst. I hope you all rot here. That's cold, man.
Really let me down.
Even if we had some rough spots, some of us still try to get along with you. During the game tournament, I was fine with you joining. You think a few games were enough to forgive everything you did to me? None of you actually cared about me, none of you. Well, Damon did, and he spent time with you. I spent time with you. I've never been anything to anyone. What do you mean? It really is the same in here as it is out there. I'm always the one that people hated. I didn't choose this talent, I was just doing what others wanted me to do. Here, I'll let you guys see this. That's pretty. I mean, no, the art is really good. I'm not trying to downplay it at all. I was the prodigy students the adults wanted me to be. I thought I did everything right, but I still kept being judged. Everyone else around me resented me, hated me because they wanted to love the love I received, or what they thought was love. And despite all my hard work, the UTP turned me into something I never wanted to be. Even if I wanted to return to normality, it would have been impossible. I'm stuck with this talent for life. And now when I try to become something more than a sad joke, I get hit with the realization that all my efforts were for nothing. I never could be anyone else. I'll never get what I deserve. But I cared.
I don't understand.
I cared about you. I don't get it.
Why?
Why did you frame me? I cared for you and stood up for you whenever I could.
Don't say that!
I wanted to be your roommate. I wanted to help you.
I don't want to.
It didn't mean anything. Why? You still agreed with everything Wolfgang said. No matter what he did to me, you kept on supporting him. Is that why you tried to frame me for his murder? Yeah, and you deserved it.
No.
Dang. Diana let out a sob and nearly fell to her podium. Eloise ran over to Diana and put her an arm around her shoulder.
Can you believe that?
Why did you have to kill Wolfgang in front of her? That's so cruel. She obviously knew what she was doing. Both the cause and the time of death were mentioned in the mock trial case. So it stands to reason they would be mentioned here too. When Eva realized that, she tried to leverage it against us. I'm sure receiving that little camera perk made it all too easy to time the murder.
Shut it!
Enough of this already. So Eva is a privileged little asshole who thinks her life sucks. Who cares? You took Wolfgang's life. The only thing you deserve is some comeuppance.
Sheesh.
I doubt she's actually telling the truth. Murdering someone because they lied about their inoffensive talent, even she must know how ridiculous that sounds.
How can that be?
If Eva didn't kill Wolfgang because she was scared, then why did she kill him?
Honestly?
Why else but to escape the killing game? I doubt any of us were ever a threat to her. In fact, it was probably the complete opposite.
Shocking.
She thought she was smarter and better than all of us. That's why she thought she could win the class
My
trial.
thoughts exactly.
I agree with her. In that case, did you reckon Eva killed Wolfgang because of his abilities as a lawyer? She admitted herself that he would have suspected her if it was here. Clearly Wolfgang was the best person to kill if she wanted to escape.
Nope.
And anyway, Eva isn't the only one who's vulnerable. There are people here with even weaker bodies and weaker minds. Anyone who is looking for an easy kill would know to target them first. I mean, everything she did was very strategic. I just didn't want her to die. But I guess I've changed my mind about her. It doesn't matter. Even if no one targeted me, I still would have died first. Because of the perk. Tozu told me that if I didn't use the perk to murder someone as soon as possible, I was gonna die.
What did you say?
Dang, so he forced someone to do something.
Who? Me?
Guilty as charged, it's true.
Dude, no!
No way, Tozu never told me the number of days I had left, just that I needed to kill soon. So she couldn't even think it over. I mean, right, she wouldn't have known exactly what that thing that she found was, and anyone would have entered it, so now no one's gonna want to find it anymore. Unless they're desperate to get out of there. If I didn't kill soon, I'd die.
This isn't fair!
I had to do something. You can't blame me for that. If you were in my shoes, you all would have done the same.
Worthless.
It's your own fault. You were only in that situation because you took the perk. Tozu targeted me with the math puzzle. He offered me the perk when I was at my lowest point. If you guys were approached the way I was and offered a chance to go home, you would have taken the perk too.
Stop it!
You're just a bunch of hypocrites. You just want to make me look like the villain so you feel less bad about killing me. Killing her? That's right. How could I forget? If the blanket is uncovered.
Dumbass.
Enough already. I'm sick of talking to the scumbag. Get on with the freaking execution, will you? Alright, this soap opera is entertaining, but I realize it's time to change the channel. Wait, don't tell me you're actually going to. Dang.
Holy!
All of a sudden, the elevators behind us began to churn alive. The whir of machinery could be heard from the other side of the doors, raw and loud and rhythmic like a mechanical symphony. I'm really curious to see how this is going to be, like how it's going to look like.
The show must go on.
Do not avert your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. I hear a lot of the budget went into this. No, I don't. What's going on? This isn't happening. This isn't happening. I'll just leave my face cam off for this one.
Blood is rushing.
To the victor goes the spoils. Hell the honorable dead. Avenged at last. I don't deserve this. Actually, I probably should get my reaction to this. Even if you hate me, I don't deserve this. May our charitable justice inspire fear and humility within these wretched souls.
Don't kill me!
This isn't fair. I don't deserve to die. I deserve to live. I deserve to live. And stir the hearts and minds of all those bearing witness. Ready, everyone? Let the show begin.
I want to live. I deserve to live. I'm going to live. I'm going to live!
What's she gonna do? Oh my god, what's happening? Oh, they actually have an animation. Wait, and now we present... Wait, where's the sound? Oh. The execution of Iwatsuna! Oh, she's running. Enjoy the show. She tried to run. Oh no. Bro, this looks so legit. Okay, what are they gonna kill her with? Math? Oh god. I didn't know they were gonna animate this. I mean, I guess it's just that they went all out. That's crazy, dude. Fiery furnace of affliction? Oh my god, they're just gonna burn her alive? No, Eva, I'm sorry. Oh, there's an exit. That is so mean. It's just gonna keep getting faster too. Oh my god. Oh, not the huge incline. Wait, there's stairs now? Oh, they're just trolling her now. What the freak? How do they come up with this? Oh, that is so messed up. Wait, is that like pencils and like what do they call those? Protractors? Rulers? Oh, oh my god. They're like stabbing her now? Is it because of what she did? Like, you know, like her quirk? Not quirk, this isn't My Hero Academia. Her freaking talent, whatever. Oh my god. This is brutal, dude. This is just terrifying. Wait, who's that? Oh, the dummy. Oh my god. That is so wrong. At first I was like, wait, who is that? She's dead. And they all had to watch? Oh my god. Please finish this game. I need more. I need more of this. You have to finish this. Listen. Please. Do it for me. Please.
I can't handle it.
My entire body has seized up. I am blown away, like all the resources that went into this. And again, it's just, they're just doing it. Just because. My entire body had seized up. I couldn't move a single limb, couldn't say a single word. All I can do is stand and stare, my mind at a complete and total loss.
There's no way.
So that's what a punishment entails? Let me go home, please. Let me go home.
Isn't this lovely?
Goodness, talk about the heated moment. Eva put up quite a fight for a second there. She almost had me believing we'd underestimated her.
Moving on.
Just kidding.
Oh, be damned.
How could you do this, forcing these innocent people to kill each other?
Terrible.
So judgmental. Need I remind you that this is a student-on-student warfare? Just shut up already. Eva, why? You just needed a friend. I could have been the friend you needed. How did you do this?
I can't believe it.
I think I'm going to be sick. I don't even know what I'm feeling anymore. So basically everything I said was wrong, except one time I mentioned like, well, you know, it could be Eva, and I'm, you know, that's like the only thing that I ever got right. I mean, I did get some things right, but yeah, still the comment I read is not true. So I'm still waiting to see if that's true. If that's true, I'm totally gonna die here, aren't I?
Can't be like this.
No one is gonna die. You hear? We're all gonna be okay. Repeat it after me. I'm here and I'm okay. Oh, I'm here and I'm okay. This was my reality. So I guess Toshiko and Grace's thing didn't match up because Wolfgang was lying about being sick? I guess so. The fear of death had already been heavy on my shoulders ever since the killing game was announced, but now it had completely enveloped me. I can't do it. I can't lie to myself again.
It's all my
Again,
fault.
I'm not okay and I'm never gonna be okay. I could have changed things. I could have saved her. And him, Wolfgang. If I just dragged him out of the water, I could have saved him. Why didn't I save him? Yes, like, so many things could have gone wrong.
Whoa!
Diana, you had no way of knowing what was going to come next. I guess if the plan would have failed, then nobody would have been, you know, nobody would have been, this trial would have never happened. He was wielding a knife too. Anyone would have done what you did. Did he really bring a knife for self-defense? Usually a comment like that would have gotten a rise out of Grace, but she stayed completely silent. I can't let it end. Wolfgang's kindness, I can't let anyone forget it.
It is how it is.
It goes without saying, I'm sure everyone will remember what Wolfgang did for us. I never thought of the lengths my talent can go, the ability to change others' appearances to be the best version of themselves. It's always been someone else who sits in the front of the mirror. I've never really put myself in that place. Diana, you okay? If I can't save Wolfgang, then at the very least, maybe I can live for him.
Believe me.
You didn't do anything wrong, Diana.
Pardon me.
Yeah, I can do this. I can fulfill the life he wasn't able to live. I went from suspecting her to now I want her to live. Oh, dang.
Like a chameleon, I will adapt.
Sorry, I gotta get a screenshot. I don't need it.
I'll
I was gonna take my
follow
camera
his
away.
Footsteps and continue what he wasn't able to accomplish.
I love the art for this game. It's so good.
I'll become something new.
Tears were running down Diana's face, but her expression, somehow she looked determined. She can't die now. You know you can't kill her, right? They're gonna kill her, aren't they? She's definitely gonna die eventually. And it's gonna suck so bad. I couldn't understand it. Despite everything she's been through, here she was making some silly vow about continuing Wolfgang's legacy. Acting like she's the hero from a storybook. Has this girl lost her mind? Why is that like that? Why is it bold? Wolfgang and Eva, neither of them deserve this. I won't let what happened to them happen to anyone else here. For both their sakes, I'll save everyone from the killing game.
You've got to be kidding me.
Take this seriously, will ya?
Can this get any worse?
It seems your peers aren't much in the mood for heroic monologues.
Moving on.
Anyhow, it's been a long day. The crime scene has already been cleaned up. Unless you have any further questions for me, you're all free to return to your dorms. Any further questions?
Get lost.
Ingrates.
Now, where have I heard that one before? In all seriousness, I'll take that as a no.
Good evening.
Until next time, everybody. Just like the last time Tozu walked over to the throne.
Isn't this lovely?
By the way, you're safe to ride the elevator back up. We've set it back to its default mode. What you glimpsed before was simply its punishment mode. On that ominous note, he was lowered underground. Hey guys, should we just go back to our rooms? It's about time we draw this day to a close. Good idea. People silently made their way to the elevator, horror and despair etched on their faces. It was clear today's events would not be easily forgotten. And then there was me. Everything I'd been ruminating over, the devastating images which had been plaguing my mind. Wolfgang's murder, the trial, the execution. It had all retreated to the corners of my mind. The only thing I could focus on now were those 5 words. I'll follow in Wolfgang's footsteps. Hearing those words come from Diana after everything that happened, seeing her raise her chin and act so tall and proud just like Wolfgang once did. It pissed me off. What? Why? Why? And also, what about the whole... Oh my god. That's it? Is it over? What about the whole wolf in sheep's clothing thing? Like, we'll never know Wolfgang's backstory? Like, this game, man. This freaking game. Wow, wow, wow. This was like so good, man. Like, I cannot think of anything that it was missing. Like, even the end, they changed it. They did the whole thing. The whole execution, they animated it. I never thought that I would get myself invested in a fan thing as much as this. But I'm just so glad that this exists, and I'm just happy to share it with you guys. And yeah, now I can finally read the freaking comments. I'm gonna wait till this is over before I say anything. But again, I'm gonna tell you what that comment said that I read. Dang, there's a lot of people that worked on this. I mean, I don't know, there might be some definitely repeating. Of course they did a song. They did a whole song too. Bro, they went all out for this. That's it. It's over. There's nothing more. Right? Okay, yeah, it's over. The question now is, how long is it gonna take for the next one to come out? All I know is that it can't be soon enough. I need to play. Yeah, honestly guys, good job. Good job on all the work done. I don't think we could even like really comprehend how much work this would take to make something at this quality for free. The comment I read said that Wolfgang was still alive, that he was actually not dead. And I was like, there's no way. And I'm glad that I chose not to really believe that. I was waiting for it to happen the entire time, but thank God, he seems very dead now. Unless they can tell the future somehow. Okay, that was it. That's all I was gonna say. Thank you guys, smash like, and man, I guess from here, what we can do is finish Rain Code and move on to other games. So yeah, I'll finally end this. This is a long one. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.